President must now either appoint his third Prime Minister of the year or call new snap elections or himself step down.
But the saga didn't end there. On Friday, in a risky move, President Macron reappointed Lecornu as the Prime Minister. Those were some of the week's top stories. Ira Spitzer reporting.
Scary day in Virginia after a mass shooting at the offices of Slash Forward Marketing. Management described the violent scene as incredibly inopportune if the company wants to hit its sales goals.
Gunshots were first heard around 9:40 a.m. VP of Sales Ken Miller placed the first 911 call.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello? Someone is shooting everyone at our office. Can you guys do something about this? We really can't afford to lose focus right now.
The alleged shooter, Brian Henderson, a Slash Forward employee, was described by Miller as a so-so salesman and a, quote, candy ass who obviously couldn't howl with the big dogs. Slash Forward management said the company is rattled to the core by this poorly timed shooting.
It was horrible, really. But hashtag pray for Slash Forward is trending, and we are getting tons of media exposure, so I think we're going to survive.
Donations for the families of victims are pouring into the company website, as are applications for the 18 job openings listed immediately after the shooting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us tonight at Free Talk Live. And with you on the show tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
And we're back. I mean, it's Riley. I'm back.
And Richie Rich, who's also back.
We're all back. But it's Free Talk Live. And I want you to call in with your spooky, scary stories if you have one you would like to share that's fun or is terrifying, whatever. And you could be anonymous if you want, so just let me know when you call if you want to be anonymous.
Does it have to be a true scary story? Like a personal first-hand experience?
Or something even that you heard from a friend, but I don't want you to call in and tell a fictional story because you wrote a cool fictional story. Honestly, to me, that's boring, and like, obviously, anybody could call into Free Talk Live, do whatever they want, but I don't think that Ian usually lets people call in and tell their short stories.
The man with the big toe and other scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh my god! Just one big toe, no other toes.
I forget there was one in there like that. I don't remember them all. I don't quote me, but I have all those books from when I was a kid.
I read a couple, and I always had to get them from the library.
Okay.
But they genuinely did scare me.
Nope, Scholastic Book Fair for the win, baby.
Yeah. As a kid, I was really not about to read any scary or watch any scary movies, anything like that. What about you guys?
I've never really been a scary movie type of person, but my girlfriend Alana is, so I watch scary movies with her when we're together.
The good thing about scary movies for you, Riley, is a lot of the tension comes from the music.
That and the storyline.
Yeah. Well, it's also a good thing that you can't get really jump scared by a visual. But then again, part of the visual, part of the visual is the loud sound that comes at the same time. Mm-hmm. That actually always scares my dog. He'll run to the next room.
Riley's going to have nightmares of me scaring him before the show started.
I doubt it.
Oh my gosh.
When I was a kid, I didn't watch a lot of scary movies, and then I got to high school and realized that I hadn't seen all of the popular scary movies. Mm-hmm. So there was one Christmas vacation where that's how I spent my Christmas vacation. Like I was at my mom's house, and it was just every day I went to Blockbuster and rented like 3 new scary movies, and then came home and watched them, and then went back the next day. So I made it through like all of the Freddys at the time, all of the Jasons at the time, Child's Play, Children of the Corn. I forget the rest.
I feel like I watched
Leprechaun
a lot, and still I don't think I've seen. I think I've only seen like a fifth of the ones you just said. Like I've seen.
That would be like one because I only mentioned like 5. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you've got a lot of catching up to do too.
Yeah, I just don't really like them. Like I watched the 13 Ghosts. I watched.
Oh, that's a good one.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I don't like them. And the only one of the guy who did Halloween that I've ever seen is The Ward, which is supposedly a really bad one.
Okay.
But I thought it was like good acting and an interesting story. It just was like, the reason it scared me so bad is because I was like, well, MK Ultra is real, so this is terrifying.
Okay, so what scares you about scary movies? Because even that has like subgenres.
For me, it's the storyline.
Okay.
Like, what about it?
Like the storyline, how the story plays out, what happens in the story. Like sometimes I feel like I can empathize with the characters if they're going through something really difficult. So it's like, this is a little tough for me.
Yeah. What you're going to miss out on, Riley, is a lot of the gore.
Yeah.
Right? There's some scary movies that's just very gory. Like the Saw movies aren't that scary, right? But they get you with the visuals.
Yeah.
Right.
I would never watch that.
Okay.
I've had some of it described to me, and I'm like, nope, no thanks.
That's the coolest part. Like all the contraptions.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
So I just like, of course that's going to kind of scare me, and then it'll disturb me later, but I don't think I wouldn't be able to sleep, because I recently watched a movie called Warfare. Have you seen that? 2025. And it was like, it really gets you, because the beginning, it's soldiers in Iraq, American soldiers, and it's like, whoa, that was such a crazy shot, like a really wide screen of this Iraqi village, and then like you see the people walking in. It feels like, especially with the huge TV like my friends were watching it on, it feels like, and it's really detailed. It's a slow burn, and it's like, it really gets you like interested in what's going on, and then all in one scene it begins the most gory, like not terrifying, because it's not like somebody kidnapped them, it's not a scary movie, it's a literal story from Iraq. It becomes so gory and detailed, and showing all of this, like, because a EMP goes off, and then they're like dragging their friends back into the house to try to heal them and all this stuff, and waiting for and it gets
I might have
really
downloaded
gross.
it. I'll move it up to my queue for the weekly.
My friends were saying, if anything, this is an anti-war movie or anti-war propaganda, because it's going to get people to not want to join. And I was like, nope, I don't think you guys really have met enough people, like the people in my life who grew up on military bases and stuff like that. And they're like, I have to join the military. I have to. All that is going to do is going to make them like, I got to be there to help. I gotta, like, it seriously is not gonna make people not want to do it. If that was the case, like, people already know what goes on in wars. Like, they still join it.
Oh yeah, they feel like they need to have the homeland protected because war is evil.
Those people look like
some
heroes.
people. There's different sects of that too. There's those people, Riley. There's people like the people you knew, Bonnie, who were like generational military, right?
Yeah.
My dad was in the military. My grandfather served. All my uncles were in the military, so I have to go. And then the general recruitment is like, let's go to some poor, impoverished area where they have no prospects for jobs, right? And guarantee them, a salary and a cost of living allowance and possible college later that they're never going to be able to afford on their own, right? And then we just feed them to the meat grinder.
Yeah, exactly. And it actually made me cry, because I was just thinking about how, well, usually when I think about war, I feel bad for the people that are on the other side of America 99% of the time more, but like this actually made me feel bad for like the young people. I'm not saying they're at 0% fault. You know how I feel about, like, they're the ones doing the act. I feel like they're at the most fault for going and joining and doing this.
Right.
But it did make me feel bad for these young people who believe all these lies and go join something thinking they're doing something good, and they get badly traumatized, if not killed, and maimed. Even if they don't get killed, they're so badly traumatized. And this movie was like nothing but amazing actors. It looked like just real footage.
And worse for previous generations where conscription was a thing, right?
Yeah.
You've just been drafted.
Yep.
You don't even have a choice. You can either go to war, flee, or go to jail. Good luck.
Yep. So that was disgusting.
But still going on in Ukraine.
So that was a scary
there's
movie.
There's videos of that.
Yeah. And there are people that literally are in other countries, including America, and they're like, I want to go to war so bad, I'm going to go sign up to go to Ukraine. That's crazy.
Psychos, yeah.
Yep, definitely psychos. And in fact, like, those people, I feel the least bad about,
Yeah. No, they get it.
Especially when they're like 30,
I mean, objectively, if you're going to go to war, like, that's who you want, right?
Yeah.
The people who want to be there,
people who want to be there,
are going to be the ones that sign up the most and actually want to be there and will go lay down their lives for a country they don't believe in, I guess.
And won't hesitate to pull the trigger, right?
Oh, yeah.
Won't get,
They're ready to follow the orders
doe-eyed
and do
under
as the
fire.
man says.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still feel like it's like, no matter how much they think they prepared, an 18-year-old is like going to be like, holy crap, I didn't prepare. And so it's so horrible to do that to a person. awful.
Oh yeah, it is.
So, anyways, all I wanted to say was to call in and tell us about anything you want to tell us that's spooky, since it's spooky season. But also you can call in with whatever's on your mind. The number is 603-283-6160. And I want to talk about lots of different things around the news. There's obviously one thing that's kind of serious going on, I guess, is that what we learned from a caller late last night, which was a little embarrassing, I guess, because we're here to tell you what's going on in the world, and I didn't know that the Israel-Gaza peace deal was made.
Okay.
Did you know about that?
I don't trust it, but yeah.
I knew of it as well, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't think it was really necessary to bring into show prep.
A war ended. That's what I'm confused about. It's like, Angela also said he knew about it, but I was like, you guys didn't think it was important to tell us?
I don't think the war has actually ended.
Yeah, I'm with Riley.
I'll believe it when it actually happens.
There have been so many ceasefires along the way that mostly Israel has broken, right? That, this was probably, if I'm being skeptical and putting on my conspiracy hat, right, this was probably propaganda to try to get Trump into the front running for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and now that he hasn't won it, there's no reason to pretend like the war's over. So in a couple of days, or a week or two.
There was like a Nobel Peace Prize thing that came out, and his name wasn't on it, something like that.
Trump's on a I want to call it a rampage to keep up with Barack Obama.
Oh yeah,
right. Like whatever Barack got, Trump wants, and which is why he at
he got
one
to
point
touch the Saudi Arabian ball.
Well, at one point Barack said, the one thing you between us, whatever you can always call me is that you'll never be called as Mr. President. Right. And then Trump was like, well, screw you, I'm going to run. And then he won. Right. And so Barack had 2 terms as president, and Trump only had the one at the time. So it's you could get out of it. You lost, and then he comes back for a second term as president. So now he's got 2 and Barack has 2. And so the one thing Barack Obama has that Trump doesn't have is a Nobel Peace Prize. So what does Trump want? He wants the Nobel Peace Prize so that he's once again on equal footing with Barack Obama. And so he's pushing for it, and his claim was, I deserve it because I ended the war I ended the war in Israel and Gaza, right, and with Israel and Palestine, so that qualifies me for the Nobel Peace Prize, and then he didn't win, right? So now that he's not won, there's no reason to carry on the pretense that he ended a war, and so they'll resume hostilities shortly.
Aren't there other years he could get nominated or win the Nobel Peace Prize?
Is there? I don't know. I don't know if it's like the Olympics, if it's every 4 years or whatever.
I don't either.
Okay. Yeah, I never looked into that. It's kind of sad that to want to win the Nobel Peace Prize, the actions you take aren't to try to be the most peaceful person. Instead, you just keep doing whatever crap you're doing and then try one little shenanigan.
Well, and that's why there was some controversy with the person who won it, right? Because depending on which side you believe, she's like a revolutionary in Venezuela. Right, she's anti-government, she's pro-democracy, she's rising up in opposition to the government there.
Anti-government and pro-democracy, it makes no sense.
Well, because Venezuela is a dictatorship, right?
So they want
anti-their government, you mean, or is she totally anti-government?
Period? No, anti-their government. Excuse me, if that was the confusing part.
That's what confused me, because you can't be anti-government and pro-democracy.
Okay. She's anti the dictatorship in Venezuela and wants the people to have a say in their government. So she's a revolutionary fighter in Venezuela, which not really peaceful, number one, right? But pro-democracy, which is big in the eyes of the Nobel Committee, right? Oh, she's striving to get more people's rights and so on and so forth.
Mob rule is definitely something statists love to pimp in their world.
Hey, I'm not saying they're right. They gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama.
I agree with you. They're terrible.
What act did he do that made them give it to him? Do you know?
No,
I don't remember.
I know he droned more people than. I know he was the Nobel Peace Prize winner who bombed the most people. So.
Yeah. I think it was just he was a good orator, right? He was a great speaker. So he gave speeches that sounded good, but not his actions.
This says it was awarded to United States President Barack Obama for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. So I guess that's just at all, period, not like one specific thing.
Yeah, I'll believe it. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, he still sent more cruise missiles. Yeah.
And again, only in rhetoric, right? Because of the actions that he took behind the scenes as commander in chief.
says the committee has attached special importance to Obama's vision of and work for a world without nuclear weapons.
Okay, but he did not dismantle the United States nuclear arsenal when he had the opportunity, right? So he doesn't want the world with nuclear weapons, but by George, we're not getting rid of ours.
Yep. I don't remember anything about him like talking about nukes or anything like that. That was like not going to be my first guess.
Nope, not as long as he's still bombing people.
And basically, he won this for just a bunch of talking.
Right.
That's exactly what this is saying. It's saying dialogue and negotiations are preferred instruments for resolving even the most difficult international conflicts. The vision of a world free from nuclear arms has powerfully stimulated disarmament and arms control negotiations. So that's more talk too, not actual disarmament.
Right.
Right.
Thanks to Obama's initiative, the USA is now playing a more constructive role in meeting the great climatic challenges the world is confronting. Democracy and human rights are to be strengthened. This is so very vague. They just gave it to Obama because they liked him as a president, and they're never going to give it to Trump. That's probably what it is. Oh, okay.
Well, likely, but we'll see. Trump, as long as he's president, every year that they do offer one, Trump will be hearkening for it.
Well, so it does say that hostages were released. So maybe they are actually ending it. I just don't know. I'm not trying to like disagree with you guys. I have to get.
Well, those are Israeli hostages, right? That's Hamas releasing hostages to Israel.
I think you're right.
And it's only like 20 hostages, or something like that, right? Okay, so now Israel has what they want, which is the hostages. Hamas has no negotiating power, and Israel is known for like overwhelming violence against Palestine. So now that Palestine has nothing to negotiate with, what do you think is going to happen when Benjamin Netanyahu has the urge to sell more weapons or buy more weapons from the United States military-industrial complex?
Well,
they'll false flag it if they have to, but they'll continue the bombing of Palestine and Gaza. As I predict.
I can't believe that was 2 years. Wow, 2 years of war. But
this time,
I mean, if it ended.
Yeah. 2 years of war this time.
Yeah.
This is nothing new.
But I'm just like,
it's been going on as long as I've been alive. I don't know if it's been necessarily Hamas and Israel all the time, but I know it's been Israel and Palestine.
Well, I didn't say every war on the planet ended. I'm talking about this as Hamas and Palestine. And I'm saying that things since that October 7th, it's kind of crazy that was 2 years ago to me. It doesn't feel like 2 years, but weirdly, I think about Ian being in prison for 2 years, so that was October 2nd. That feels like a million years. But then the other one, I guess it's just because of how much it matters to me, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah. Israel versus Palestine is generational, like hundreds to thousands of years of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And
conflict, but not like a war.
Well, but within the conflict, there's a war happening, every so often, right? Some last longer than others. And then there's peace talks. If you like movies, I don't know if I'd recommend this movie, but I think it's called Oslo. Have you heard of that one? Seen that one?
No.
Either of you? Okay. If you care about like this particular conflict, then I would suggest watching that movie, because the premise behind the movie was secret talks between Israel and Palestine that happened in Norway in like the 90s to try to bring the conflict at that time to an end, and that ended unsuccessfully.
Talks in Norway to try to end the Israel-Palestine conflict?
Yeah, they brought liaisons from Israel and Palestine into a room in Oslo, Norway. This is like not a documentary, but based on a true story, right? It's a dramatization. But the peace talks happened behind official channels to try to take, because they couldn't negotiate in public for fear of looking weak. So they did it behind the scenes, at the time, and then that ended unsuccessfully because there's still a conflict going on. So like conflict always on point. War pops up every now and again. So if you want to take credit for ending this war, fine. And if you want to call the war that starts up in 2 weeks a new war, fine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But nothing changes.
Would it be the end of a war if nothing changes between these two countries?
Oh, we've had the 7-day war. And then a month later, we had the 14-day war.
Yeah, they just call it different things to make people feel like that it's just a different war. But, it's still endless war, still endless conflict, and nothing changes.
Yeah, Israel claims more land. Palestinians get, ash to dust because they can't. They're incapable of sustaining a military effort against a U.S.-backed Israel.
Exactly.
Right. And so, and everything that they do, is, well, I'd say David and Goliath, but we know how that ended. It's a small faction versus, the military might of Israel and the United States. They can't win, but you can't just get walked over either. You got to put up some sort of defense, if nothing more, just because it's an honorable thing to do.
So Gaza was Drudge Report posted like a headline,
reputable news source,
and their headline that I clicked on for information about the hostages in Gaza getting released was the worst link of all time. It was like a bunch of crappy pop-ups and stuff like that. I guess that's just maybe typical for... I already forgot which one it was.
Drudge is an aggregator, so they always link to other sources.
Oh yeah, I know, but the one that they decided to use of all the stories about this was really crappy, and it's The Guardian. That's the word. And then I tried to put it in
Guardian
Archive.
is reputable though. They're just
I
terrible
tried to
with
put it
ads.
in Archive,
Okay.
and it had these ads frozen in front of lots of the text, which I've
Okay.
never had that problem with Archive. So, anyways, it did seem to be about Gaza getting rid of their hostages, and so I was trying to find out, did Israel release any of their hostages? But nope. It says, the Wall Street Journal, Israel prepares to receive its last living hostages held by Hamas. Oh, okay. I thought it said prepares to release its last hostages.
Nope.
But I still really don't think that they've given away any hostages.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they don't have hostages. They have prisoners.
Oh, well.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and they have murdered bunches of women's and children's and whatnot. You're not going to give those back. They're just gone forever.
Yeah.
So you take the hostages in the hopes that Israel would stop bombing you. Otherwise they lose 20 of theirs, but they don't even care, right? Like they continued the onslaught, and now they're negotiating for 20 people. Like this war is going to end over the release of 20 people, 20 Israelis. I don't think so. That's a very low number.
I completely agree.
It says it's also the first time that Hamas ever admitted how many they have. So,
If that's even the true number, then
yeah.
maybe they had more and some died along the way.
And then right here it also says they wondered if Hamas, in its battered and fragmented state, could quickly assemble all the living hostages, and pointed to a possibly accelerated timetable for their release. So it's like, if they're wondering if they can even get anything done because they're battered and fragmented, like, how do we know the number is right? But yeah.
You don't. You either believe the Wall Street Journal or you don't.
It says that Hamas is to release all the living and dead hostages it holds in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. So hundreds.
Okay.
I wanted to know how many were there. It just says
right.
hundreds here. And a ceasefire and a redeployment of Israeli soldiers from parts of Gaza. Yes.
Yeah. So
getting
Trump
them
had a
out.
little map that had a line of like where Israel's supposed to push back to. Right. But, if you look at the Israeli progression chart from like the 50s, they just continue to move forward and occupy more land and occupy more territory. So if anything, this is a temporary reprieve for Palestinians and Hamas or whomever. And I don't think Israel is going to stop pushing forward forever.
It says that on Monday afternoon, Egypt will host an international summit in the Egyptian resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh, aimed at spurring momentum for the broader plan. So maybe he has more plan to try to make things better.
Again, until Israel breaks the ceasefire.
603-283-6160. What do you think? Do you believe that Israel is really having a ceasefire? Do you think that they'll stick to their peace plan? 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Donald Trump announced the first phase of a Gaza peace deal had been agreed. The U.S. president said all the hostages held by Hamas would be released within days. Many Palestinian prisoners held in Israel would also be released, and Israel would withdraw troops to an agreed line in Gaza. FSN's correspondent Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The reaction amongst the family members of the hostages held in Gaza has been one of jubilation, even though it was 2 a.m, 3 a.m. People descended on Hostage Square. They've been popping champagne. We've seen tears of joy. However, from the overall umbrella group that represents the family members of the hostages, they have been a bit more reserved. They've said that they are receiving the news with a mix of excitement, anticipation, and concern, and that their struggle will not end until the last hostage returns.
After that ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Palestinians began heading back north towards Gaza City, which had been the site of intense military occupation in recent weeks. The ceasefire marks a significant milestone in the pursuit of peace in the Middle East, but questions remain over who will govern the enclave in the years ahead. Donald Trump has not won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. The U.S. leader had hoped to win the prize for his efforts to defuse global conflicts. The annual award has gone to Venezuelan democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, not the result that Donald Trump wanted, but the February 1st nomination deadline worked against him. That was just a week and a half into his second term, at a time when just one congresswoman had put in a nomination for the US president, despite many world leaders in recent months coming forward to saying that the US president should be recognized. Maria Corina Machado has been a long-time opposition figure in Venezuela. She was barred from running against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in the last election.
Nearly 22,000 people fled their homes in northern Mozambique in a single week last month due to a resurgence in fighting across Cabo Delgado, the UN Refugee Agency has warned. FSN's Isaac Lucando reports.
The UN Refugee Agency says the late September surge in displacement marks a turning point in Mozambique's conflict, now in its 8th year, with more than 100,000 people uprooted in 2025. The violence in Cabo Delgado, which began in 2017, has grown into a complex crisis, worsened by cyclones, floods and drought. All 17 districts have now been affected, displacing more than 1.3 million people. The agency warns families are reaching their limit as civilians face killings, abductions, sexual violence, and forced child recruitment.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160, and Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. And with you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley.
And Richie Rich.
And, Richie Rich, do you want to share what you saw on the Poly Market?
Oh, yeah. So I was, during the break, I said we should, check to see what Poly Market has to say. And the only one that I was able to find that's relevant to what we're talking about here is whether or not the ceasefire will be canceled by, that's the heading for Poly Market.
Canceled as in, Israel and or Gaza... say, never mind, we're reneging on this peace deal.
Or, like I said, Israel will break the ceasefire, right? That sort of thing.
Yep.
11% chance that it'll happen by the end of this month, and 29% chance that'll happen by December 31st. And it doesn't go out any further than that, but there's a whole bunch,
And so since that's not 100, it's like, is there a percentage of people saying it won't be?
Yeah, so that's the betting line, right? So basically 11% of the people betting say that it'll happen by October 31st, right? So if you're betting, it costs more, like the buy is yes for 12 cents or no for 91 cents, because most people are saying no. So there's not a lot of money to be made on the no side. But if you bet yes, and it does happen, right,
then you have to choose your...
Well, no, then you make some money.
But
you make more money.
When you say yes, do you still have to choose by October 31st or oh, those are just two different ones.
Yeah,
there's yes, no for
ones.
each.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So 12 cents for October 31st, no is 91 cents. December 31st is yes 30 cents and no 73 cents.
Wow, I wonder if, like the people who said the 11% one, they're going to get the most money, right? If they win.
If it ends by if you bet yes by October 31st, based on this, right, you're getting it at a cheaper rate now, right? As it gets closer to October 31st, the numbers will change, but you'll make more money now than if it happens, right? December 1, you'll make less money if you bet yes, but it's more likely to happen, right? And I'm sure if they stretch this out for February or March or whatever, right, the numbers will go up, because again, I don't think any sane person thinks that this is a lasting peace. It's just the end of this war in the midst of a continued conflict.
Yeah. I wonder what Skeeter thinks about that, because we have Skeeter on the line.
Do we have to ask him?
Well, I don't know
go ahead.
if that's what he wants to talk about.
Aggressive conflict is an objective good. If done incorrectly, it accelerates the destruction of the institution that undertakes it. And when done correctly, it properly reallocates property where it's best used.
Wrong.
That's what I want to talk about. Yeah, value's objective.
Wrong.
This is what I want to talk about, right? I want to talk about the objective value of money.
Wrong.
Yes.
You
know what the objective value of money is?
We've talked about this so many times. Of course, that the people you're talking to know what it means.
You guys gotten it wrong all the time. You guys can't even apply.
What makes you think that you're right?
Because there's no objective value of money.
There is an objective value.
It floats against everything else.
Why do you think Riley thinks it's converging to one currency?
I don't think he said he thinks it's converging. I think he was advocating for it.
He said it would be a positive thing, not that it's all converging.
Well, evolution determines whether it's going to converge.
There's like 8 million
Evolution
cryptos
is a
out
process,
there.
Skeeter. Evolution is not intelligent. It's a process.
It doesn't have to be intelligent to act.
You always say what it wants.
We know, because you act all the time.
You always say that it wants this. It is looking for that, and you make it sound like it's intelligent. And that's why the other day when I hung up on you, I said it's like listening to a religious person.
No, you know what selection requires? Selection doesn't require intelligence.
Well, that's
it may
not
be intelligent. Who knows? But it doesn't require it.
Okay.
So when I say,
I think you're thinking of like the individuals make selections, and what they select causes changes. That's not some force outside of those people.
I never claimed that.
No, because that's what actual evolution is. Evolution in real life, not in your head, is individuals, whether those are animals or not, making decisions, and that has an impact on their offspring and their genes, and that's what the process of evolution is. There's no one person making the decision. Then what did I get wrong? I'm being honest here. Did I get the definition of evolution wrong?
People are an imperfect, unfinished product of evolution. They are not evolution itself. Plants are evolution.
I didn't say the people are. So, okay, you're just arguing against something that I didn't say. So why don't you repeat back to me what I said and then tell me how it's wrong?
Straw man.
Exactly. It's like he just said, I said people are evolution. I didn't say that.
Evolution is like people making decisions and stuff.
It doesn't have to be a decision.
It's so dumb. I said selection is people making decisions, and then that causes the process of, and people and animals, and
that's part
even
of it.
plants.
A lot of it's also just random mutations that work.
Yep, that's true too.
I didn't select for it. I didn't select my color.
Even less so, one mind making a decision, but like he believes. I'm honestly, I could be done talking to him there.
That's fine. If you hung up, just hang up.
Yeah. Well, now I hung up. So boring. Such a horrible caller. I feel
He's
like
a one-track caller.
I feel like
horse
if he's
boring.
a FBI agent or whatever, then their mission with him would be make it seem like there's no point to call in because you'll just get treated badly. But it's because he is so horrible that I don't treat him as nicely as I'd treat like the next person just calling in like, oh, well, I have something to say. And I'm not going to just be like, wrong. See, neither is Richie Rich.
Well, I'm probably the meanest.
We know
I think I'm the
him.
meanest to callers.
I still don't think
partially
that,
by design.
I still don't think that if just like one person or a new person called in, they're like, here's what I honestly believe and here's why, and they weren't being a jack, but then you would just be like wrong or mean to them.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. If a new caller called in and it was espousing the same things as Skeeter, not aware of him, right, I would engage them intellectually. But we've done that with Skeeter, and it's ineffective.
Yeah.
So he is ridiculous, and so all I do is ridicule.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, I just think I shouldn't even answer him, but...
It's the appropriate response for ridiculousness.
Well, before Sarah calls in, I think this is actually a good thing to cover before she calls in, because then we'll have plenty of questions for her and things to bring up with her, because I'm sure she'll just try to call in about voting. So, from the Daily Economy, which I had never heard of.
Reputable news source.
The dailyeconomy.org says the high cost of free transit, which is a pretty hilarious name. I like it.
Because it's true.
Yeah. Says paying even modest fare signals that the service has worth. Without that signal, transit quickly attracts vandals and lawless behavior.
People that value it subjectively different than others? What?
Wait, there's subjective value? Color me surprised.
Former New York Mayor Bill de Blasio appeared on MSNBC earlier this month in support of mayoral candidate Zohran. I never really thought about how to say his name. Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran!
It does sound like some kind of a superhero.
Okay.
Or something like that.
No, that was the dude from Dude, Where's My Car? Zoltan.
Zoltan. Oh, Zoltan. That sounds like a bad guy in like Aladdin.
Okay.
I think it is, but I could be wrong.
Jafar?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You're thinking of the Sultan.
Oh, yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's somehow those are all interrelated, and he has like a not normal name to me, Zohran. So, candidate Zohran Mamdani, speaking of Mamdani's signature policy proposal, de Blasio declared that free buses have been proven to work in many parts of the country.
Lies.
So he's supporting him, Bill de Blasio. Where, host Joe Scarborough immediately asked, and de Blasio was unable to answer. That's hilarious.
Well, just do your research, Joe. It's happening all over the place. I don't have the full list in front of me.
He says, I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah.
Of course.
A simple Google search will answer this, Joe. You don't have to ask me follow-up questions. Just take my word for it.
Says, this awkward exchange sums up fare-free transit. It sounds appealing, but fails in practice. Eliminating fares seems compassionate and progressive, but when implemented, it misallocates scarce resources, making everyone worse off. Especially the lowest income riders the policy is supposed to help.
Yeah. So in theory, right, this would be a case of the seen and the unseen, even if it worked perfectly, right? If they had enough of a cash cow wealth base to steal all this money from, to make the low cost ridership effective for those riders, the people who are actually paying for it, the wealthy people who are being stolen from, right, don't use the service, right? So even if they could afford it, right, they're losing out because their productive income isn't going to something of their choice. It's going to this low ridership. So even at its best case scenario, it's still a misallocation of resources.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people like Sarah would be like, yeah, well, those rich people, we deserve fair money for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. Yeah,
So what'd
because
you
they
say to
have
that?
it and I don't, and I want it, and I'm not willing to work as hard as they did to get it.
Well, she'd probably say like, well, we aren't able because I have whatever it is, schizophrenia or whatever. Bipolar. I have bipolar, so
Well,
I'm
I'm
not
blind,
able.
Sarah, and I'm disagreeing
employed.
with your premise.
Yeah, employed and works. It has had way more jobs than Sarah.
Probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so even in the Sarah situation, right, like, I'm bipolar, I can't work, right? Like, okay, a couple of things happen. Either you get off the dole and you miraculously find a way to earn a living, right? Because starving to death should be a significant enough motivator to get you to do something. Or you find a charity, right, willing to put up with your nonsense for however long, they want to keep you alive. Or you have family that's willing to take you on as a burden, right? Or you just die, right? But the worst case scenario is taxpayers are stolen from that don't give two squirts about Sarah, right? Like, I don't care if she dies, right? Realistically,
Yeah.
I'm here, she's there. People die in New Mexico all the time that I don't care about, right? But if my federal money is being taxed and stolen from to support some federal, income service for Sarah, right? Then I'm worse off to make her better off, and I just don't care, and it shouldn't happen.
Well, we have an anonymous caller on the line, so I'm just going to go to the phones and see what they want to talk about. Anonymous caller, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
My federal money is being taxed and stolen from.
It's
probably Skeeter again playing us back.
Skeeter, is this you, or did you realize that you're playing the radio? You got to turn it off.
But I just don't care, and it shouldn't happen.
Okay. It might not. I don't think it's Skeeter. That doesn't seem like a Skeeter move, to be honest. I thought he was playing it back, but it was just somebody listening to the radio out loud.
Okay. Well, he has a habit of playing back stuff I've said as if I'm going to backtrack her.
And another thing is, somebody anonymous called yesterday when I answered to screen them during the break. They immediately hung up. So I was like,
Okay.
yeah, that person just wanted to cuss. So I already have my finger on the dump button.
Okay. Maybe it's a ghost caller.
Maybe.
Because it's spooky season.
That's hilarious. If you have a spooky story, you should call in 603-283-6160.
They have a superpower that can go back 7 seconds in time. So we hear what's going on 7 seconds ago.
How did they do that? That's a really dumb superpower.
Hey, don't yuck on my yum.
Some people have been so surprised with how good I am at remembering birthdays a lot of the time. And it's always a joke. It's like, that. I guess that's just your superpower. I'm like, what a worthless superpower. If I could choose a superpower, it probably wouldn't be to remember someone's birthday.
My
So
mom
funny.
remembers people by the food they like.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
It's a good mnemonic.
It is.
That's a good mom
Hey, your
thing.
roast beef. Tuna.
And you're just like, what? Because you don't remember
At
the
least
conversation.
that's my understanding of how she remembers people. But she'll be here this week and correct the record.
I don't remember your name. I just remember casserole.
Yeah, it was probably a good, or maybe a evolved mom trait, because she has a lot of kids and she has to remember what they like and what they don't like to eat when she's cooking.
And you're going to eat your vegetables even if you don't like them.
Don't invite liver and onions to the party.
Oh my god. I tried to make that once. It was so gross, but Ian still was like, that was one of the best things you've ever made. Everything I make.
My dad likes liver and onions, and I was texting him a couple of weeks ago. He's like, I hadn't had it in forever. And he's like, because I got no one to make it for me. Like, you're a grown-ass man. Make it yourself. What's wrong with you?
That's funny.
I haven't gotten a report back on whether he did.
I gave what I was eating to Pickles Mountaineer when he was here, and I was like, just warning you, it's so gross to me, and I definitely cooked it too long, I guess, because it's kind of dry, and if you remotely make it dry, it tastes more metallic. And he said oh, it's pretty dry, but I still am happy to have eaten it, whatever. And then Ian was like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. It's awesome, which is crazy. He has a superpower to endure jail food.
Yeah, that superpower stems from years of being single and eating garbage, microwavable dinners, because they're cheaper, and he's frugal.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? A woman comes into his life and can actually function in the kitchen. He's in heaven.
Yeah.
I know.
That's so true.
Oh, man.
I feel like so many...
This is better than Stouffer's.
So many more men than I would ever guess just never cook anything, and they eat nothing but, better than Stouffer's. They eat nothing but Mary Curie or whatever it's called. Wait, not Mary Curie, Mary Callender's.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And seriously, that's all Ian did other than eat out.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you come in and even if it's a little dry, right, it's still light years ahead of whatever he's been pulling out of the freezer.
Ugh.
Does cooking pasta on the stove and mixing sauce into it count as cooking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
Plenty. It counts plenty.
Okay, well, I at least cooked something today.
Good job.
One time I left...
You also bake bread.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
That counts.
Yep.
one time I left Ian to go help my parents move for like a week, and he texted me that he was so proud of himself that he cooked, and he had opened a can of beans and heated them up on the stove and cut up a hot dog and threw it in.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a start.
If you put onions in it, it might be cooking.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you mise en place before you start?
Sounds nasty too.
What's that?
Sounds nasty too.
No, that's just getting your prep done.
Oh.
Like you get all the ingredients lined up and prep so that when it's time to
Oh,
cook,
what are you calling that?
well, I don't know if it's French, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing it perfectly,
Yeah.
but it's called mise en place.
I thought you were I thought you were defending the dish Ian made as not gross. I was like, because
No.
that's what I said sounds gross. Okay.
Well, no,
mise
but
en
as a kid, right, sometimes for dinner was like pork and beans and hot dogs because we weren't rich. And I loved that.
I like it too.
Like, when are we having pork and beans again? Because it was delicious.
But my mom usually would put onions in it to make it better.
Smart, yeah.
Yep.
It looks like you spelled this definitely correctly, or pronounced definitely correctly. It's
okay.
Mise en place. Yeah, looks like it, but
yeah.
It means put in place.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth to answer your question. You might have just been historically, or not historically. I feel like I'm speaking really stupidly today. What's the word where you ask a question but you don't really...
Rhetorically?
Yeah, there we go. I said historically, like it's
Okay.
like there's wires crossed or something. But anyways,
It's the medicine. It's the pharmaceuticals you've been taking
Yeah.
to clear up your head cold.
yeah, but it's also a pharmaceutical win that I'm alive. So just kidding.
Bonnie's
So-
backing Big Pharma on Free Talk Live.
I'm backing Big Pharma today because maybe did I say the Big Pharma thing as like off the air
Yeah.
or on there?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got a little cold, and I think I'm recovering from it much better than Angelo and faster.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with mine.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like some people just didn't get it as bad as Angelo and I. Like Elsbeth has been sick for like 2 whole weeks, but only on like 10%. Like she's barely sick, and we all seem to have gotten the same thing.
Yeah.
But Elsbeth just didn't progress.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, that's it. I'm not gonna stay sick. I'm gonna take a bunch of medicines to like dry it out, and I'm almost completely done. Like I think I'm almost completely ready.
Yeah, I will defend Big Pharma any chance I can. Not because I think they're great, but because I think their stuff works, especially for pain relief. Right? There's no better pain reliever.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what you want to say about cannabis, right? But Oxy is top notch, S tier leveled pain relief.
Yes, I agree with that. And if I can't get that, I don't even want your stupid Vicodin. I want ibuprofen next. I seriously think ibuprofen is second to that because it's just like Vicodin sucks so bad. Does nothing.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way at the
Same.
doctor's with my accident because they gave me Oxys, and then when I went for my checkup, they gave me Vicodin, and my mom was sitting there, and she's so I'm like, I don't care, I'm not going to take a lot of this anyway, but the doctor's sitting there, and my mom goes, "What kind of BS is that?" Like, what do you mean, ma'am? Like, Vicodin is terrible. Doesn't do anything. It's like the worst thing you can prescribe. The doctor's like, well, where I did my residency, we're not even allowed to give Oxys. Like, Vicodin's the highest tier,
That's so messed up.
Right. And so I'm like, I don't care, Mom. I just, I barely took any of the Oxys. I'm probably not going to take a lot of the Vicodin, So she's like, all right, whatever you want to do, kid. And so I was like in pain one night, and I took the Vicodin, and as you noted, nothing really happened for a long time. Like, I was still in pain later, and I took the Oxy, and it was only like a 5 milligrams. So it's not even like a good Oxy. And like within a half an hour, I was at ease, right? Like pain-free, comfortable, relaxed. I could do stuff. I wasn't knocked out cold. I was like, oh yes, this is what normal feels like. After being in pain for so long.
Yeah. And that's
the
another
Vicodin
thing.
didn't do anything.
It's like when you're actually in pain, there's this idea, I can't remember what it's called, that the mechanism that it works at will work first on something more serious. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're not in pain and you take oxycodone to get high, yeah, you might feel like high.
Yeah.
But when you're actually in pain, you won't get as much of that because it will go towards helping. It's like weird. It almost sounds like it's intelligent. That's not what I'm trying to say, but
No,
that's the thing doctors know about.
Yeah. And so like I was in pain, right? And which means like, number one, I was in pain, but I was also tensed up because of the pain, right? I couldn't do anything because every step was like painful and just stuck, right? And then you take the pill, and like I didn't feel high, right? I just, again, the best way to describe it is at ease, right? I was pain-free and relaxed as if I could function for the rest of the day.
So it's just like, why don't they give everybody who needs it, just like that 5 milligram that probably wouldn't get you very high, even if you were off of, or not in pain and stuff like that, you know? That is just so messed up.
And people get addicted.
Because other people
get addicted.
And messed it up for everyone else.
Right.
But we do have a caller on the line. So, Dave Ridley in Colorado, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. Actually, I'm in Wyoming.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
What you doing there?
So, it's more of a visit than anything else.
Nice.
Yeah, more like a recreational for once.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is this now a permanent move for you, Dave? I feel like you've been there for so long. Like, do you still consider New Hampshire home?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yay.
I've been on elder care duty a lot in Colorado, and for the moment, I'm just taking a break from that.
Gotcha.
And Wyoming was an easier piece of freedom to reach than New Hampshire was this week.
Oh, I just remembered that you originally wanted the Free State Project to happen in Wyoming. So what do you think about it there? Do you feel like it's pretty free? What do you think about the people there?
They also had a secondary movement, Free State Wyoming.
True.
Yes. And I think, the lackluster performance of Free State Wyoming says more than anything else. And we all just kind of forgot about Wyoming after that. It's also rated 60, I guess it's the 16th freest state in the union. So it's really not that free. I remember I actually toured Wyoming in 2003 for the first time when I was trying to decide whether to vote on it, and I wanted to write up a report for the Free State Project. And so I met with some officials here and just random business people and so forth, and got a sense of it and really did like it, still like it, but wound up voting for New Hampshire in the end because I couldn't make the numbers work in Wyoming, and the level of freedom just wasn't high enough, and there's just various other things that would not have worked in Wyoming that do work in New Hampshire.
So, quick question about Wyoming then, Dave, because I would think that with the size of the state and the population density, there would have been pockets of rural areas that would be mostly unmolested by the state, just because it's not worth going out there. Is that not the case? Like, is the local government there pretty active across the board, or is it just in the dense cities?
My experience with Wyoming in total is measured in weeks, so I really am not a great judge. I did the best I could in the 2 days I was here in 2003 to try and write a report. I would say probably if there were to be a second state that was chosen, it probably wouldn't be Wyoming. It would probably be one of the other
hold on, Dave, and we'll bring you back on so you can talk about what you actually wanted to talk about. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live coming up. Call in to talk about whatever's on your mind. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Donald Trump announced the first phase of a Gaza peace deal had been agreed. The U.S. president said all the hostages held by Hamas would be released within days. Many Palestinian prisoners held in Israel would also be released, and Israel would withdraw troops to an agreed line in Gaza. FSN's correspondent Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The reaction amongst the family members of the hostages held in Gaza has been one of jubilation, even though it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. People descended on Hostage Square. They've been popping champagne. We've seen tears of joy. However, from the overall umbrella group that represents the family members of the hostages, they have been a bit more reserved. They've said that they are receiving the news with a mix of excitement, anticipation, and concern, and that their struggle will not end until the last hostage returns.
After that ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Palestinians began heading back north towards Gaza City, which had been the site of intense military occupation in recent weeks. The ceasefire marks a significant milestone in the pursuit of peace in the Middle East, but questions remain over who will govern the enclave in the years ahead. Donald Trump has not won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. The U.S. leader had hoped to win the prize for his efforts to defuse global conflicts. The annual award has gone to Venezuelan democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, not the result that Donald Trump wanted, but the February 1st nomination deadline worked against him. That was just a week and a half into his second term, at a time when just one congresswoman had put in a nomination for the US president, despite many world leaders in recent months coming forward to saying that the US president should be recognized. Maria Corina Machado has been a long-time opposition figure in Venezuela. She was barred from running against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in the last election.
Nearly 22,000 people fled their homes in northern Mozambique in a single week last month due to a resurgence in fighting across Cabo Delgado, the UN Refugee Agency has warned. FSN's Isaac Lucando reports.
The UN Refugee Agency says the late September surge in displacement marks a turning point in Mozambique's conflict, now in its 8th year, with more than 100,000 people uprooted in 2025. The violence in Cabo Delgado, which began in 2017, has grown into a complex crisis, worsened by cyclones, floods and drought. All 17 districts have now been affected, displacing more than 1.3 million people. The agency warns families are reaching their limit as civilians face killings, abductions, sexual violence, and forced child recruitment.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN. The leaders of the UK and India hailed a new chapter in economic ties as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrapped up a 2-day visit to Mumbai, where he met his counterpart Narendra Modi for bilateral talks. The two countries announced plans to strengthen their investment, defense, and technology ties after signing a landmark trade agreement in July. FSN's Rebecca Bunden reports from Mumbai.
Keir Starmer brought with him more than 100 leaders of businesses, entrepreneurs, cultural institutions and universities. So this just goes to show how significant this is as the two countries really look to capitalise on that trade agreement. And they did make a number of announcements. This includes a major defence deal with Britain saying that it has signed a contract for the Indian Army to purchase or to be supplied with lightweight missiles from the UK. This is a contract that's worth some $468 million. There were also agreements announced in terms of technology.
France's prime minister resigned after just 1 month in office. Sébastien Lecornu handed in his notice on Monday to the president. He was appointed to the position on the 9th of September after the previous premier was ousted by Parliament. For the latest on the deepening political crisis in France, here's Ross Cullen in Paris.
France has been plunged again into political uncertainty with the shock resignation of Sébastien Lecornu. Under the threat of yet another no-confidence vote, he submitted his resignation to the President Emmanuel Macron, who accepted it. The president must now either appoint his third Prime Minister of the year or call new snap elections or himself step down.
But the saga didn't end there. On Friday, in a risky move, President Macron reappointed Lecornu as the Prime Minister. Those were some of the week's top stories. Ira Spitzer reporting.
Mere days before his upcoming relocation to Denver, Colorado, 4-year Chicago resident Paul Marston admitted today that he wished he had taken a little more time to truly loathe the city he has lived in for nearly half a decade.
You know, I've been here for a couple years, but now that I'm finally leaving, I realize I never really got to hate this place.
Marsden confirmed that in the time he's lived in the city, he never quite managed to explore his own shitty neighborhood, adding that he regrets never getting to know the stuck-up workers at the cafe down the block, never visiting the overpriced bodega on his corner, and never becoming violently ill from the food at the crappy Mexican place across the street from him.
You know, I lived right next to that bar for 4 years, and I just wish I took more time to abhor the disgusting smell that hits you every time you walk by. I'd always heard this place blows. Guess it's a shame I never got to hate it like I should.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and the number to call, 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. And I'd like to thank Shooty for being an amplifier here with us at Free Talk Live. That means that Shooty went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Shooty and everyone who supports us. Again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. I averted my eyes for a second because I was trying to make sure that was Dave Ridley calling back. But with you on the show tonight on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley.
And Richie Rich.
And it's an open phone show, so you can call 603-283-6160 to talk about whatever's on your mind. Thanks again to Shooty. Kind of a weird name. Felt like it was hard. I had to really enunciate
Could be
it.
a username. Doesn't have to be their real name.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it if I thought it was a first name, but then again, I guess it could be. Kind of a weird name. That's
As
mean.
opposed to shooter. I wouldn't want to be the shooty.
That's a good point. Shooty with 2 E's. But my thought was just that he was called like Shooty McShot or Shooty
Graduate
Mc...
of Highland Park or Park Highland.
Oh my God. Well, not a graduate. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Dark humor right there.
Sent his laugh into a cough.
Oh man.
But we do have Dave Ridley back on the line in Wyoming today. And I'm glad you held on to the next segment so we could continue our call because, Dave, you didn't get to bring up what you wanted to talk about. So go ahead.
Did you guys hear about... I guess the Trump administration is looking into trying to ban trans people from owning firearms. Did you hear about that?
I did, and I think it's a horrible, horrible thing, even if...
yeah. I feel like that's old news, too. That was like brought up at least a month or so ago.
But maybe he's dealing behind the scenes on it since we're distracted by whatever else. So what do you know about it, Dave Ridley?
Well, actually not that much. I just read an article or two on allsides.com. Do you guys follow allsides.com?
I do not.
No.
No, I've never heard of it.
Now that is the resource I was waiting for 10 years. I had just stopped reading the papers, right? Stopped watching the news. There was nothing I could trust except Free Talk Live, right? But there's this thing that's come along called allsides.com, and I've been following them for about a year now or so. And it's run by a conservative guy who tries to bring in all the leftist points of view and they assign like a rating to every news organization. So they give you a story from the Associated Press, they will remind you that is a left-wing biased organization. Or if they bring it to you from RT, they'll remind you that the Russian news official service is a right-wing biased organization. So that's nice, and they really seem to be fair.
Nice.
With no so it's run by a conservative, and there's no conservative bias in the rating system.
Well, there probably is some, but he like right there where it says the publisher, he says, I'm the publisher, and then by his name he puts parentheses right-wing bias, and my editor, parentheses center bias, is so-and-so, and such left-wing bias is the one who does and so they brought something together that I trust.
Okay, fair. Reputable news source for Dave Ridley.
Exactly.
Awesome. Oh yeah, now you can't make that joke anymore, Riley.
Sure I can.
Please do.
There's a little tab here on allsides.com that says everyone is biased, and that's okay. There's no such thing as an unbiased news. But hidden bias manipulates and divides us, so everyone should learn to spot media bias. So at least he's admitting he has bias.
Or learn how to read a news article, right? Because like this, talked about this before, but when there's the bias, but there's also the facts. Right. So if it's, like 20 people were shot, at the supermarket down the street, right? Like you can believe that, but there's no bias in that information. It's just like 20 people were shot. And then the article, who's ever writing it, will speculate as to why, right? Oh, it was a trans shooter with left-leaning politics or whatever.
There are conservative people still calling the shooter in Charlie Kirk's case a tranny.
Okay.
And he was not a tranny.
Okay.
That's so bad.
There's the bias though.
Yeah.
Right. But depending on who you believe, because there's conspiracy theories out there, right? Charlie Kirk was shot, right? Most people tend to agree on that. From where, for what reason, we don't know. Right. That's the theory and the bias.
I didn't see him get shot, so I don't know.
Also good perspective to have.
Yeah.
Right. If you didn't witness it, by your five senses, you were literally taking someone else's word for it at some level, no matter what.
That was a microaggression against Riley, who just said five senses.
Just one of them doesn't work.
Exactly.
So, Ridley, did you have more you wanted to say about them trying to make it to where, well, them as in Trump, maybe his cabinet too, or whatever, trying to make it to where trans people can't own guns?
Well, it's a reminder that those of you, I hope all of you who didn't vote for Trump are vindicated.
I voted for Trump to free Ross. Sorry, Ridley.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I didn't. I feel vindicated.
Me too.
I also feel vindicated because I said he would do horrible things, and I was only voting for him to free Ross.
Yeah. Well,
and he's doing horrible things, and Ross is free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to judge. But the at least not you. But one of the takeaways I have with this is that if you stop and think about it, I've always been a little bit reluctant to ever see a psychologist or go to a psychiatrist or something like that.
Not me.
Because of the history in the Soviet Union and in Bosnia, where psychology was used in the Soviet Union, of course, to lock people up. And then in Bosnia, the guy who led the war crimes was a psychologist or a psychiatrist, actually.
I feel the same way as you. I never offer up any mental health information when they ask me at the doctor.
Well, also why it's being used against trannies first, right? That's the foot in the door.
Yes, and so this is a reminder of why. Like, think of all those trans folks who have gone to the psychiatrist to tell them that they're trans, right? And the psychiatrist probably doesn't go straight to the feds. They write it down on their internet-connected computer, and then the NSA gets the information independently by accessing everybody's data, right? So,
or they go after the fact, right? Like trans shooter shoots someone, and they want to associate with the trans, so then they go to the psychologist or psychiatrist to get the records.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they go like, well, this person has a history of mental illness. So now we need to ban people with mental illnesses.
And you don't just go there. You don't just go to the psychiatrist and say, I'm trans. Like, you talk about everything with them, and you might have told them, like, well, I thought about killing myself because I feel uncomfortable in my body. And then they use that as, well, you're a danger to yourself and you can't own guns. And it's not going to stop with trans people if this passes, by the way.
Right. And soon it's anyone who's ever gone to see a psychiatrist for a mental illness, right? Oh, red flag.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting mental health support.
Yeah.
Can't own a gun.
We've gotten so used to, over the last 10 years, we've gotten so used to the idea of trans being used as an excuse to restrict the freedom of non-trans people, right? And the trans community has in some cases implicated itself in that. But just like every community, they have the same human rights. And we're supposed to defend the human rights of everyone, and gun rights are human rights.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, a lot of trans people want to make up things that are not human rights and pretend they're human rights, like what bathroom you can use in a privately owned place, stuff like that. That's not a human right. Like, even if I go into a grocery store and they say, like, Bonnie, we have a ban against people named Bonnie going into either bathroom, well, I can just leave. That's that kind of thing, not a human right. But owning a gun, human right. It has nothing to do with the government. The government didn't grant you the right to own a gun to defend yourself.
Right. You have the right to defend yourself, and a gang of strangers claiming this government can't interfere, and so your right to keep and bear arms is always secure, no matter what anyone does.
Yeah. Well, owning a gun being a human right also doesn't mean you can force someone to make you a gun or sell you one.
Exactly.
Right. So somewhere along there, you have to have the ability to make your own.
The other thing is, I saw way too many libertarians going for this just because they don't like the whole trans agenda being shoved down their throat in other ways, that they're like, yeah, well, these people are crazy enough that I think this should be at least one place where the government should be allowed to. And
you mean the New Hampshire Libertarian Party trying to exclude trans people from the state?
I think there are multiple people on that list that say no to that, including the chair, Ben.
The conservative members of the Free State Project.
Yeah, but there were definitely some that were for it. But I would say, I think a majority are actually against it.
Okay.
But there were people like in other states that I saw that are pretty friendly with me on Twitter and stuff like that, that were all for the government taking the gun rights away from trans people. And I think it's very misled.
I agree. It's very misled.
It's like, if you let them determine who's crazy enough to not own guns, then it could be you next. Like
it will be you next.
The government called Catholics a danger like 2 years ago because they were going to the school board meetings angry about the masking.
It's a slippery slope, but it's not a fallacy. That's like the MO of government, right? Like, even everyone talks about like taxes.
You give them an inch.
They take your life. Right, the income tax was a 1% tax on the very wealthy people, and now it's just trickled all the way down, slippery sloped its way down to affect just about every working individual in the country. That's the MO.
Yep.
It just makes it easier to tax everybody to death because they want to feel like they own you, and if you don't pay your taxes, they can just steal more money from you.
Right. The TSA. Right. Oh, temporary. Whatever.
But they keep voting it for its existence.
Right. Patriot Act too. It's temporary, but they keep renewing it every time.
Yep.
But TSA first it was, we're going to inspect you, take your shoes off, and now you get like 3 ounces of liquid. Right. Well, as if you can't have 17 bottles of 3 ounces of liquid. Right. It's just more inconvenience, but the law now and normal for the current generation who's never experienced an airport pre-TSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think about, too, how this will affect average conservative gun owners. They would have to presumably fill out a longer form which goes into their sexuality in order to get a gun.
That's a good point. How would you even
feel about that?
And most of them are closeted.
How would you be able to screen it out?
And
that's such a good point. Like, if somebody doesn't look trans, a lot of the FTMs, female to male trans people, are really hard to spot at all. So how exactly are the gun stores supposed to know?
They're not. You just fill out the form, and if they catch you later, then you're a felon for lying on a federal form.
It's horrible. That's really bad.
Right. That was like the whole Hunter Biden thing. He lied on the federal form, got the firearm, and they tried to get him for that later.
Yes, another person who was unjustly prosecuted, Hunter Biden.
Yeah. Well, and it started with like drug use, right? If you're a card carrying marijuana user, right? In a lot of places that negates your Second Amendment rights. If you're using medicinal marijuana, you're not allowed to have a firearm.
Yeah, this is not rocket science, folks. No aggression, no grievance. Those trans people didn't commit an aggression, so they shouldn't be restricted from firearms. And Hunter Biden's drug use was not an act of aggression, for which he should not be restricted on firearms, no matter what other bad things he did. If he did something else terrible, come after the thing he did that was actually terrible.
The aggression. I don't care if it's terrible. You can do terrible things and not aggress against anybody.
If it's not aggression, it's probably not terrible.
Okay. Well, not aggression is definitely not terrible, but, you know. Right.
I'm trying to think, like, what's a terrible thing someone can do that's not actually aggression?
Beat your pet.
That's aggression against an animal.
It's your property.
The animal. I don't really think that is true. I think that when something is alive, you shouldn't be able to just beat it, like make it suffer. I think that's different than eating it.
Factory farm, then?
Yeah, I think that's a horrible thing to do. And I do think it's aggression. And I think that people should actually vote with their dollar and go to Angel Acres or whatever they call it. Go to Strong Sistas. I wish I knew their website and buy their meat instead. Just buy from a local farm you know about.
Yeah, good luck with that.
What do you mean?
You're not going to get the vast majority of people to switch from the cheapness of factory farming.
Oh, yeah, I doubt I'm going to get the vast majority, but I stopped caring about the vast majority a long time ago.
She wants to preach to the people who are willing to make the changes in life.
Yep.
Like people who are willing to make the move to New Hampshire.
Yeah, but that's very small.
Right.
Anything else for us, Dave?
Hello.
Thank you for the call.
Thanks, Ridley.
RidleyReport.com for more Dave Ridley. And we also have Sarah from New Mexico on the line. Sarah, what's on your mind?
Sarah, why is public transportation so expensive?
Way to get it right in there, Riley. Not even giving her a chance.
Where's Sarah?
Oh, I'm not sure. Sarah, are you there?
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round
Sarah?
and round, round and
Sarah,
round.
if you can hear us trying to reach you, you are totally allowed to call back. But I was completely silent. I felt like there was something wrong there.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. That was a horrible, high-pitched voice. It sounded terrifying.
Hey, I have a deep voice. Doesn't get much. It's very difficult.
Very on brand, in very on brand for Sarah kind of way. We're going to continue to talk about this free transport. Or am I saying the wrong? Transit.
Transport?
Free transit, yeah. Okay. More trans talk.
More trans talk on Free Talk Live.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Purple-haired libertarians
I'm
not
the last
welcome.
person to ever want to talk about that. That's what.
Maybe that's why you're getting knocked on Twitter.
Possible. Thought about that. Definitely thought about that. I got a little thing on Twitter that told me like your account is currently being throttled. Like I could go scroll back in my notifications, find exactly what it said if it wasn't throttled, until we review it again. And I was like, what the heck? And then the next morning they said like, we reviewed it and you're all good to go.
Okay.
So you're not being throttled anymore. And then like it just never came back to normal. Like it just feels like my followers don't see my stuff and stuff like that.
You got to put out one of those clickbaity posts. Please like and comment if you can see this, so I can get an accurate representation of what Twitter's showing you people.
No one will clap for this armless and legless boy because he can't clap for himself. Please like one like equals one clap, and it's an AI image.
I love that idea.
Nice. You think that boy has to pay for a full coffin when he dies, or can he get like the child size?
Oh my gosh. Well, even if he's an adult.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have to extend out all the way with the legs, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, wouldn't it be his parents instead of him paying for it?
Whatever.
Or his
kids,
family, whatever,
or
he has kids or whatever.
Either way, can he fit in a child-sized coffin?
I don't know.
Depends on how long his torso is, I guess.
Ask the guy in that war movie I watched, because there was one that they show off at the end in his wheelchair, like, hey, look at this hero. This hero has no legs. It's so awful.
Warfare, the movie.
It's definitely a scary movie.
Is it billed as a horror, or is it billed as... Okay.
It's billed as just a war movie that's supposed to be like, wow, these men are so tough and awesome.
So brave.
And in the whole movie, they're holding hostage an Iraqi family in their own home, so that way they can use the home.
All right.
They're like held hostage on a bed. The whole family has to sit on a bed for these like, I don't know, hours and hours, and they're being held at gunpoint. And then there's a bomb explosion outside the bed or outside the house, and the Iraqis don't die, but yeah, it is awful. Oh no, I gave away a spoiler. The Iraqis don't die, because the whole time we were wondering if they were gonna like kill the Iraqis for no reason.
Now we don't have to watch it.
No, it's honestly
Mystery solved.
If you're interested, well, then again, it's like, I think you should torrent things that are this awful so we don't give these people money. But
I torrent everything.
If you're interested in watching it, I would suggest torrenting it. Because it was like almost impressive in the way that I'd never seen a movie where I could see like every pore and everything on this guy's face. I was like, well, you can actually tell he's not wearing makeup too. Or if he is, it was like amazing makeup. They looked like they were really sweating. There's only one guy that I recognized as an actor, but I forget his name. Anyways.
So get used to that, because that comes with the 4K.
Is that new?
It's more prevalent than it was a long time ago. So like if you're watching a movie in 4K, like that's especially on a big screen, you're going to see that level of detail more prominently.
I have a friend who's got all these. He's like a grown man and he doesn't have kids or a wife, so he has all kinds of like toys in his house. He's like, yeah, this is my motorcycle, this is my telescope, and he has a big TV. And I think we watched 4 movies in a row just before we all decided to go to bed.
Wow.
Yes, that was kind of fun. I never watch movies on my own.
And also, like if you torrent, yes, definitely torrent. Yeah. But if you want to see that level of quality, you're still going to get that more from like a 4K Blu-ray disc.
Oh wow, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Because
actually.
there's
I think it was at Prime. I think it was on Prime.
Okay, that's still going to be good, right?
But I shouldn't have told people because I don't want them to support the movie.
Well, you also said torrent it. Torrent it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Torrent it anyway. But that now we're telling them, but it won't be as awesome looking. Blah, blah,
no, because it won't. Because even on streaming, to get the bandwidth, they compress.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense.
It's just the way it is. Until you get significantly faster streaming to get that through the pipe, it's always gonna. Right now, it's better on disc.
There are a few things technology-wise that I only learned once I met Ian and he talked about it. And one thing I can't unsee now is when there's like a viral image and people start using it, it's getting more and more and more compressed.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there's this picture that people find funny where it's a picture of Sabrina Carpenter at a interview, one of those like talk shows, and somebody used AI to generate her into a fat lady, but it's like the face and head is still the same, and she just has a fat lady body, and people keep using it as a joke, like they're like, felt I was craving, ice cream, so I ate ice cream, and they use that as a picture. But now every time people share it, every once in a while, somebody shares one that's like so compressed, and it's because they screenshotted a screenshot that was screenshotted and
right
over and over and over.
And every level, you lose a little bit of detail from the original large resolution image.
Well, it looks like we have a caller on the line, so I'm just going to go
Sarah.
Right to the phones. Nope, it's not Sarah.
Oh.
It's Kadu in Connecticut. So Kadu, what's on your mind? You're on Free Talk Live.
First of all, I agree with that thing about the airport. I got a tiny bottle of hot sauce confiscated.
Wow.
Being pretty ridiculous. But I was going to ask, I missed a few shows I got to catch up on, so I don't know if you already clarified a stance on this, but as far as the Charlie Kirk assassination thing, did you guys think that he really died?
I do.
I'm with Riley.
Have an opinion on if he really died or not, because like AI and stuff like that is so real that I'm just like, I am open-minded at this point to the fact that, or to the idea that he didn't die. Also the idea that it could be faked and then he's out hanging out with Epstein somewhere. I'm open to that too. Hang on, Kadu, if you'd like to continue the conversation into the next segment. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. I do want to know what you guys think about more Charlie Kirk stuff coming up. Or whatever's on your mind. You could call in about anything. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Donald Trump announced the first phase of a Gaza peace deal had been agreed. The U.S. president said all the hostages held by Hamas would be released within days. Many Palestinian prisoners held in Israel would also be released, and Israel would withdraw troops to an agreed line in Gaza. FSN's correspondent Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The reaction amongst the family members of the hostages held in Gaza has been one of jubilation, even though it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. People descended on Hostage Square. They've been popping champagne. We've seen tears of joy. However, from the overall umbrella group that represents the family members of the hostages, they have been a bit more reserved. They've said that they are receiving the news with a mix of excitement, anticipation, and concern, and that their struggle will not end until the last hostage returns.
After that ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Palestinians began heading back north towards Gaza City, which had been the site of intense military occupation in recent weeks. The ceasefire marks a significant milestone in the pursuit of peace in the Middle East, but questions remain over who will govern the enclave in the years ahead. Donald Trump has not won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. The U.S. leader had hoped to win the prize for his efforts to defuse global conflicts. The annual award has gone to Venezuelan democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, not the result that Donald Trump wanted, but the February 1st nomination deadline worked against him. That was just a week and a half into his second term, at a time when just one congresswoman had put in a nomination for the US president, despite many world leaders in recent months coming forward to saying that the US president should be recognized. Maria Corina Machado has been a long-time opposition figure in Venezuela. She was barred from running against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in the last election.
Nearly 22,000 people fled their homes in northern Mozambique in a single week last month due to a resurgence in fighting across Cabo Delgado, the UN Refugee Agency has warned. FSN's Isaac Lucando reports.
The UN Refugee Agency says the late September surge in displacement marks a turning point in Mozambique's conflict, now in its 8th year, with more than 100,000 people uprooted in 2025. The violence in Cabo Delgado, which began in 2017, has grown into a complex crisis, worsened by cyclones, floods and drought. All 17 districts have now been affected, displacing more than 1.3 million people. The agency warns families are reaching their limit as civilians face killings, abductions, sexual violence, and forced child recruitment.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live. And if you're tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites, our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley.
And Richie Rich.
And we already have a caller on the line. I want to repeat, I've been asking callers, it's like you can call in about anything you want. You can definitely call in about anything you want. But it being October, I really do want to encourage anyone who wants to share spooky stories with someone to call in, because all of us are pretty open-minded people in general. I love to hear spooky stories. Like, I can never get enough. So, yeah. 603-283-6160.
Stop letting Bonnie down.
And we already have, one time there was an old man on the line who just wanted to talk about, like, man, I wish that they would get a bus from my town to the next town, something like that. And I was like, so, Raymond, do you have any UFO stories? And he was like, it was 1976. And he told us one. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was Sarah's roommate. But we do have a caller on the line, so Kadu in Connecticut, thanks for holding on to the next segment. What did you actually want to talk about? Oh, yeah, you asked us about Charlie Kirk.
I mean, that's got to be considered fairly spooky if Charlie Kirk is going to rise from the dead.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
if they did, it would have been 3 days later.
If he did it, he just wouldn't have been dead.
Is this fan that's right near me, like, too loud?
I don't hear it.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, good. So yeah, there's just certain things like the AI angle that you were talking about, like, and the thing is, it's such a traumatic thing to see. When you first see it, I believed it at first, but like the blood does a certain thing where it kind of comes down, and then it defies gravity, and it rises, and there's no apparent explanation for that. Also,
well, I mean, that jugular vein, it could be pumping up, so that's not really defying gravity, you know, or it is in a way.
I'm talking about the blood that actually already like left his neck. It does this weird thing where then it rises, like literally, you know, what moves like upwards instead of like downwards, and also. There's no blood that appears behind him, like any kind of splattering. And apparently the crime scene was just like disassembled, like directly afterwards with no, official examination of it. Also, there's this guy practicing for... his reaction in the audience, the guy who was at one of the, people in the crowd who was asking the questions, doing this like practice rehearsal of like being shocked that Charlie Kirk was going to be hit. Another thing is Charlie's carried into this SUV instead of an ambulance. You'd expect an ambulance at a big event like this, but he's just carried into an SUV, and there's no blood.
Yeah, by his own like security team, carried into an SUV instead of being carried to like sitting where he is until an ambulance comes. You know.
Well, I mean, weird. Maybe. I mean, if you have transportation to the hospital, right? Why are you going to sit around and wait for an ambulance?
I don't know. I think.
Yeah, but even.
I guess that is normal. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Right, we have to get him to a hospital. Like, and the SUV's right there. You just go.
But even that, with that SUV thing, if you look at the footage, there's no blood that's dripping. And also, like, if you look at his shoes, they're, like, completely white. Like, they were just bought from, like, the Foot Locker. Like,
okay.
Like, completely.
There's also no blood splatter that's ever been shown. Like, there should be white... There's a white... Like, what do you call this? Like a step and repeat behind him.
Okay.
And it's pure white. And you would think that there'd be at least a smidgen of blood that you could see in any of the angles of the cameras.
The only conspiracy theory that makes sense for that is he was not shot from the front. Right? What you see is an exit wound, not an entry wound.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that from the, from the entry wound on the backside.
I believed it for a second, and I've shared it on Twitter, and it got a huge amount of views. And, then I realized I watched other people with different opinions, and I really got very convinced that it actually was the front. If it happened at all, if this isn't an AI video.
Yeah. And the official story that his spinal cord blocked a 308 from exiting. Right, that's ridiculous.
I didn't hear that. That's weird.
If you watch the up-close footage of the blood, somebody did a good analogy. You know those like Dockers pants that like don't soak in water. You know, you splatter water and then it doesn't soak it up.
Yeah.
What like the blood looks to be doing, and if you want, and again, it's traumatizing, so it has that effect. Nobody's going to want to look into this unless you're crazy, like
Well, there's
like
also
me,
not
like,
very high quality videos of it, or at least there wasn't when the incident first happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, there's stuff that you can see pretty up close from what I've seen, but like
but a
what the
digital
blood
zoom is
does-
going to artifact like Bonnie was talking about earlier.
But the blood anyway. But the blood appears to have this effect of like, okay, it's dripping and doing whatever it's doing. But you'll notice like it's not soaking in. It's not doing any like. It's not soaking into the clothing. It's just like doing what it's doing on its own in some kind of weird way. But like
Is the conclusion then that he was not shot, and that's a digital interpolation?
Yeah, I personally, my speculation, and it is just a speculation, so I don't get sued for $1 billion like Alex Jones, is that, he's in on it, and it's, some kind of psyop, fake operation kind of thing.
Okay.
And people
For what
ask the
purpose,
question- Yeah, I was about to say. That's what you asked the exact right question. Yeah, like, why would they do this? And I think... basically, he's one of their operatives, and there's not one.
One of whose
specific
operatives?
goal. I think there's probably Mossad, or even I think it actually might tie to like 33-degree Freemasonry, which I never took that seriously originally, but when you notice how many times in this operation they mention the number 33 over and over again, it's like they're really trying to cue you into the fact that this is some kind of 33-degree thing.
So
But,
is everybody in the crowd in on it? Is this one of those large conspiracies where everyone has to be in on it?
That wouldn't
I
even be
think it
that
might
hard
be
if you think about it. It's like if there is like even 1 million people in a cult on the whole planet, they couldn't get a couple hundred to go to this Utah thing.
Well, they could,
Black
but
off
if the
people.
blood's not real, that means people in the front row didn't see any blood.
Yeah, but nobody in the front row, everybody in every
Yeah.
row would be cult. And
That's what I'm saying.
agree with it. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, I don't think that's that
you
hard.
think that's true? That's
no,
possible?
I don't. Oh, possibly yes, true.
Okay.
No, I don't have a belief of that. It's just that I'm just like, I never say like, oh, like you
Well,
can't
if the
possibly
Democrats
have
can
a.
bus in voters, then
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Like a lot of these protests I see look so fake. When I was in San Antonio and I went to a George Floyd riot, whatever. It wasn't a riot. Protest.
the George Floyd's riots in San Antonio.
It really wasn't a riot.
Okay.
But what I was going to say was me and my
Mostly
friend
peaceful.
know San Antonio very well. We're Uber Eats drivers. We're there all the time in the midst of every single little neighborhood. I've been to the neighborhood that the guy from John Redcorn, from King of the Hill named John Redcorn was killed in. That was not his name, sorry, but that's the character's name.
The voice actor who did the voice of John Redcorn.
Yes, I've been to that neighborhood. Anyways, one thing that we walked away thinking was like, these people were not from San Antonio. We like complain all the time that there's like not enough young people. Where the hell did these people come from? They don't look like they're from here. We didn't run into anyone we knew. It was strange. And the other thing was that it was sold to me as an anti-police protest, and everybody there was like 100% just there to say Black Lives Matter, George Floyd. It wasn't sold as a Black Lives Matter thing. But anyways, and so I think people were bussed in, and there was more people than I've ever seen with my own eyes in one place at that place.
Okay.
At that protest.
So Charlie Kirk goes onto campus, and it's mostly plants, not students, there for the debate.
Could be possible.
All right.
Not that I'm saying that's what I think happened. I don't have a belief
Okay.
on it.
But that's what you would need if you were going to digitize the blood for the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's true, it's not even probably most. It's probably all, would be my guess. And I also heard this thing that Kash Patel also like fired like huge amounts of members of like the FBI in that area. I'd have to verify that, and you guys can verify it for yourself, because I don't know if that's true either. But like apparently members of the FBI in that area were like terminated, like, shortly before this. But people ask, like what Riley was saying, like, what is the point of this? If we get out of away from the secret society conspiracies kind of stuff, and just say more the more direct goals, I'd say one, would be like the hate speech laws, because if you remember, a lot of people right after this happened were saying, well, Charlie Kirk, might have deserved it, blah, blah, blah. He was a crappy person. He said so many bad things. And so you can't say that killing was justified. And yeah, that would be a terrible thing to say, but like it's that slippery slope of calling certain things threats that aren't really threats, that are just saying, well, I think it was fine, he deserved it, whatever. That's not a threat, but they want those hate speech laws. So that's number one. Number two, those red flag gun laws. They need a way to convince conservatives that they need to give up their gun rights. The gun thing is another
sticky situation, right? Because he didn't use the shooter didn't use the big scary black rifle, right? It wasn't an AR-15. It was a Bolty boy.
Again, I don't think anything of these agendas they do are perfect. They try to get as many things with it as they can from as many different angles.
But it's not that hard. If you're going to fake it anyway, you just say the guy had an AR-15 and boom, you can say, look, another AR-15
And the
being
other thing
used
about
in
it
murder.
being for guns is like he didn't sit there and spray the crowd. And you would
Also
think
true.
that if he was like, I'm ready to die for this or go to prison for the rest of my life, he'd kill a bunch of conservatives there too.
But it still does introduce an angle of it. I'm not saying like they attacked it perfectly from that angle, from the conservatives wanting to give up their guns, but it does introduce the aspect of it's one more
This big scary organization who bust in a whole bunch of people to fake a shooting and digitize blood couldn't get the gun right.
Well, the other thing about it is maybe they didn't want to muddy the waters with it being a bunch of people killed and then there's people that are innocent, because they want that conversation where liberals are saying, well, I think he actually deserved it, so that way they can say that's hate speech and you should be killed. And then the second thing is, it did still scare plenty of Republicans where they're like, it could be me next.
Yeah.
That the liberals want to kill us. So that could be their gun angle. Go ahead.
I think that they like I'm not saying they hit it perfectly from the argument's not they hit it perfectly from the to make conservatives not want the guns, but it is one more conservative influencer. They knocked down. And they got Trump in the ear, and they almost got him. It's adding to that effect. I forgot what I was going to say. It's not that they got it perfectly. But here's what they want more than anything is just general division and chaos and they almost love, I think, none of this making any sense whatsoever. Mm-hmm. That is part of the division agenda.
Yeah, it seems like everything that happens recently has a bunch of conflicting weird angles, and you're like, and then did you hear about this weird piece? Stuff like that.
If you want to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, you're going to find a whole bunch of conflicts. What's more than likely is this dude thought he had a shot at Charlie Kirk and took it, and that's it.
I thought you said that it's crazy that they're saying that he got shot in the front.
I'm saying one of the conspiracy theories is that the wound that's shown in all the videos is an exit wound. I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm saying like that's why there's no blood in the back, because it came out the front.
Well,
and that's why there's they can't find the whatever, like they said, the 308 that hit his spine and just stopped right there.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy, right? That's unbelievable if you're a firearm aficionado or user.
I just looked at some videos.
Did you hear the hilarious claim that they made that, like, because, I don't know, he's just, just because he was young or something, his bone density was so strong or something that was the reason, like, the bullet got lodged in him instead of, like, going through or something, because, like, he just had amazing bones, but, like,
that's a lie.
Just, like, he's just a human.
Superhuman, ordained by God, but not protected by him.
I mean,
there's a lot of stories that you can follow and get all wrapped up in the conspiracy if you want to, right? But most of them are,
What do you think about the bone density claim? Like,
again, also
Charlie
garbage.
has these kind of amazing bones.
No, not to block a 308.
Was it a 308 or a 30-06?
Oh yeah, it was a 30-06.
Okay.
Yeah. I only learned that number from this. But that's a crazy thing, too. It's like I've watched videos on the damage it can do to, like, ballistic jellies. It's like, entire body explodes.
The for you, Riley, the energy is comparable.
Okay.
30-06 is like a boomer gun. 308 is like the modern size for that power.
Okay.
That's all I really had. I don't mean to be a bad influence, but I can't help it.
Stay out of the rabbit holes.
It doesn't bother me to consider these things. That's kind of the thing. It's like, I think that when I was younger, I would always believe every conspiracy, and that is much worse because then you're walking around with all these stories in your head.
Yeah.
And it's better to just think about them.
None of which
consider
can
them.
be derived from the videos that were available at the time.
What do you mean?
The video.
In this exact, are you talking about Charlie specifically right now?
Yeah. Like the story is that he got shot, right? You can either believe that or not from whatever news article you want.
And you have to believe that it's not possible that it could be AI or not. So there's one step before that.
Well, the AI is possible, right? But that the reports, even if you don't see the video, the report is that Charlie Kirk was shot and that he died. Now, if you go back and watch the video, right, none of whether or not he was shot from the front or from the back, or whether he got on the wrong side of Mossad, or whether or not you can tell what the bullet struck his spine, right? None of that is observable in the videos. So you've got a whole bunch of influencers.
You can prove that he got shot from the front. If you've already taken the steps to believe the video is real and he got shot in the neck,
okay,
I believe you could prove he got shot in the front. And the reason is that the way his necklace that he was wearing. So there's other pictures where you can see he was wearing a necklace, but in the video where he gets shot, you can't tell that he's wearing a necklace. But it's a very thick chain. It's like, it looks like the type of chain of those type of things you pull from a ceiling fan.
Okay.
Like a whole bunch of balls. And then it has a really big cross on it.
Okay.
And the thing is, it gets pulled back and you see the chain break. So imagine like a chain behind someone's neck, the part that's behind someone's neck holding on, and then it's hanging down the front. Well, that part in the back gets pulled backwards and you see it fly through the air. I thought it was blood splatter at one point.
Okay.
And then his necklace chain flies straight up. And if you think about physics, like if you imagine that you're wearing a necklace and somebody comes to the back and pulls it directly from the back, it makes a lot of sense that the chain would fly, the charm would fly straight up. There's almost no reason that would fly straight up if it's shot from any other angle, like from the back or the side.
Okay.
And that's the only reason. That's the only thing that got me to change my mind, because otherwise I was like convinced. But the thing that's so weird about that is there's no blood splatter.
Start videos of people like doing this, and at no point did I personally see a necklace in any of the videos.
That's because I didn't even believe in the necklace until people showed me the before he was shot videos of him walking around, and it's different angles, and his shirt moves around a lot more, and you could see the necklace.
Okay.
And then at the end, when they're leaving, Erica Kirk holds up the necklace, which makes it more suspect, not less to me, because I'm like, oh yeah, that critical piece of police evidence, they just were like, oh, you get to go home with it because he's your husband. No, that seems fake.
Okay.
You know, but
So
yeah.
you've now got evidence from other sources aside from the video, which leads you to a different conclusion.
No,
than you
it's
can draw
other
from
video of the same day.
Yeah, but it's not the video of him getting shot.
Yeah, but once I knew about the necklace, all I need was the video of him being shot.
And okay, but the assumption there is still that he was still wearing that necklace.
I don't think he took it off in between, and that's in the reports and everything too.
Okay.
That he was wearing the necklace, and she got to take home the necklace.
Because again, I seen another one, and I don't believe this, so I just watch them. Right, that it was an earpiece that wrapped around his head.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, went down his shirt, and that's what caused the shirt to fly. So
That's also in his shirt, but I just am less convinced that it would cause the shirt to fly up. You know, if you think of like a headphone cable versus a thick chain metal necklace.
Except when you consider like the velocity of a 30-06 round,
yeah,
right? The amount of energy that disperses on impact.
I think what it does is kind of puff up the shirt, but this one thick little piece that flies up and completely covers the hole for a second in his neck, and that's just too. First of all, that's just a little too perfect for me. Like, oh, they had a whole split second to make something happen, but you know, whatever.
Unless you're digitizing it with AI after the fact.
But right now we're in a scenario where Bonnie is assuming it's not AI and it's real. So
Yes.
I see that fly up perfectly, and then something happened, and then when it comes down, that thing that flies up isn't just a little cord. That's something thick, and it carries the whole shirt with it, and it's like heavy. But anyways, and also in the video, you can see the necklace chain fly back. It's just that it's really hard to tell what it is.
Yeah, because none of the videos were high quality enough to get a lot of detail out of it.
Yep.
And then once you try to enhance it, right, like the movies enhance.
I'm not trying to say that
introduce artifacts.
No. So if I said prove that he got shot in the front, I'm just going to say I'm way convinced. Like, it all made sense to me when I thought of it that way. And there were plenty of things that didn't make sense for me when I thought of him being shot from the back.
So,
I was convinced for a little while of that.
Right. And you're not going to get, what he was cremated or whatever.
Just instantly.
So you're not going to, there's no evidence that you're ever going to get to introduce an exit wound somewhere that they found later.
And no
to get the shot angle.
I mean, no autopsy, because I actually have heard before that autopsies aren't necessary when the cause of death is known, and he was shot publicly, so I could see that being honest to God, the real law. But I have no idea. But either way, a medical examiner right at the ER just pronounced him dead. And, well, we do have a caller on the line, so I shouldn't make them wait. Sarah, New Mexico, are you there? Oh. She just hung up. Maybe that was like bad timing and she just happened to hang up at that exact time that I clicked on her name because maybe she was tired of waiting. But Sarah, it looks like you called back. Are you there, Sarah?
Yes. Hello?
You're cutting in and out, though, so figure that out.
Okay, but how am I doing?
That's a little better.
I got off the speakerphone.
That's better.
Go ahead, Sarah. What's on your mind tonight?
Yes, there was a lady in front of the hospital in a wheelchair, so I gave her my 243 boat number, county clerk number, and she said, well, will they give me my county clerk number? Yes, I did. So, and yes, they will. And then I saw her 3 months later and said, did you vote? And she said, I voted online. And I'm looking at her like, well, that's kind of stupid that you can't vote on the computer. You have to have a paper trail. You have to vote on paper because they have to be able to recount it, So,
is that a rule in New Mexico? Because not a lot of places have the paper backup if they have the Dominion voting machines.
Well, we don't have that because what if they need a recount? If they're really that close, if they're like a difference of barely make 2% difference, like they gotta recount the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's just not a lot of places, as they move to more digital things, there's less paper trails.
It says New Mexico has used voting equipment manufactured by Dominion Voting Systems. While the company's equipment has been present in New Mexico, recent events have changed Dominion's corporate status. This is such a dumb... sorry, not use, Sarah, but it says ongoing use. The answer I got from this AI thing. Voting systems that were once known as Dominion machines may still be in use in some New Mexico counties, but they are now owned, operated, and serviced by a new company, Liberty Vote. I actually had some show prep about that Dominion machines were bought, and now they're called Liberty Vote.
Oh. Brand change, because Dominion has some bad will associated with it.
Well, what she really meant was that I registered to vote online, and she was so dingy she thought she voted online.
Wow.
Okay. So you can, if you have a New Mexico ID, you could register to vote on the computer and change your address on the computer, but there's no voting. You have to have a paper, and then the machine reads that paper ballot. But
poor
the paper
Sarah.
Ballot is always...
That sucks. I said, poor Sarah, there's the people you have to deal with living in New Mexico and trying to convince them to vote. Well, 603-283-6160 is the phone number. Call in with whatever's on your mind. More Free Talk Live is coming up.
Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, Sarah, that you believe that the moon does have oxygen, that it does have an atmosphere, that everything that we've ever been told about it...
water?
Of course.
So everything we've ever been told about the moon has been a lie, is what you're saying.
You can look at this thing, right? Like, you can go out with a telescope and you can look at it, right?
So you have to be on the satellite. If you go up to the satellite and drink your urine and take rag baths and all that, and you could take pictures of the moon when you're up on the satellite, but you can't not say anything because they'll kill you.
Hold on a second. Hold on. So you're saying if you go up into a satellite, which people don't do because satellites are just basically electronic equipment that transmit things. But if you were to go up into a satellite that you would then be able to take a picture of the things that are on the moon.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern at freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Donald Trump announced the first phase of a Gaza peace deal had been agreed. The U.S. president said all the hostages held by Hamas would be released within days. Many Palestinian prisoners held in Israel would also be released, and Israel would withdraw troops to an agreed line in Gaza. FSN's correspondent Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The reaction amongst the family members of the hostages held in Gaza has been one of jubilation, even though it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. People descended on Hostage Square. They've been popping champagne. We've seen tears of joy. However, from the overall umbrella group that represents the family members of the hostages, they have been a bit more reserved. They've said that they are receiving the news with a mix of excitement, anticipation, and concern, and that their struggle will not end until the last hostage returns.
After that ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Palestinians began heading back north towards Gaza City, which had been the site of intense military occupation in recent weeks. The ceasefire marks a significant milestone in the pursuit of peace in the Middle East, but questions remain over who will govern the enclave in the years ahead. Donald Trump has not won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. The U.S. leader had hoped to win the prize for his efforts to defuse global conflicts. The annual award has gone to Venezuelan democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, not the result that Donald Trump wanted, but the February 1st nomination deadline worked against him. That was just a week and a half into his second term, at a time when just one congresswoman had put in a nomination for the US president, despite many world leaders in recent months coming forward to saying that the US president should be recognized. Maria Corina Machado has been a long-time opposition figure in Venezuela. She was barred from running against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in the last election.
Nearly 22,000 people fled their homes in northern Mozambique in a single week last month due to a resurgence in fighting across Cabo Delgado, the UN Refugee Agency has warned. FSN's Isaac Lucando reports.
The UN Refugee Agency says the late September surge in displacement marks a turning point in Mozambique's conflict, now in its 8th year, with more than 100,000 people uprooted in 2025. The violence in Cabo Delgado, which began in 2017, has grown into a complex crisis, worsened by cyclones, floods and drought. All 17 districts have now been affected, displacing more than 1.3 million people. The agency warns families are reaching their limit as civilians face killings, abductions, sexual violence, and forced child recruitment.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN. The leaders of the UK and India hailed a new chapter in economic ties as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrapped up a 2-day visit to Mumbai, where he met his counterpart Narendra Modi for bilateral talks. The two countries announced plans to strengthen their investment, defense, and technology ties after signing a landmark trade agreement in July. FSN's Rebecca Bunden reports from Mumbai.
Keir Starmer brought with him more than 100 leaders of businesses, entrepreneurs, cultural institutions and universities. So this just goes to show how significant this is as the two countries really look to capitalise on that trade agreement. And they did make a number of announcements. This includes a major defence deal with Britain saying that it has signed a contract for the Indian Army to purchase or to be supplied with lightweight missiles from the UK. This is a contract that's worth some $468 million. There were also agreements announced in terms of technology.
France's prime minister resigned after just 1 month in office. Sébastien Lecornu handed in his notice on Monday to the president. He was appointed to the position on the 9th of September after the previous premier was ousted by Parliament. For the latest on the deepening political crisis in France, here's Ross Cullen in Paris.
France has been plunged again into political uncertainty with the shock resignation of Sébastien Lecornu. Under the threat of yet another no-confidence vote, he submitted his resignation to the President Emmanuel Macron, who accepted it. The president must now either appoint his third Prime Minister of the year or call new snap elections or himself step down.
But the saga didn't end there. On Friday, in a risky move, President Macron reappointed Lecornu as the prime minister. Those were some of the week's top stories. Ira Spitzer reporting.
A Japanese-American internment facility was still in operation in the mountains of Northern California. The facility should have been closed in 1945 and its 6,000 residents released, but unfortunately the camp was overlooked until this week. I am happy to announce, however, that the remaining 118 detainees have now been fully exonerated of suspicion of spying for General Tojo, and they have been freed. Next item of business. The president will be meeting with the Australian Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. Yes, Denise?
Huge oversight. How could this have happened?
Well, Denise, it looks like the camp just somehow slipped through the cracks. The end of the Second World War was a hectic time in America, and it's only natural that we let a couple of things slip in our excitement over defeating the Nazis.
Who's going to be held responsible for this? Congressional investigation?
No, there won't. In fact, the War Relocation Authority was responsible for the decommissioning of the internment facilities, but that organization ceased to exist in 1946, so no.
This is the Onion News Network.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you make the show. Your calls make the show more interesting. 603-283-6160. We even had somebody call in and consider with us whether or not the Charlie Kirk shooting was all AI. So you can call 603-283-6160, 603-283-6160 to bring up whatever is on your mind. And with you on Free Talk Live, we've got me, Bonnie.
Riley.
And Richie Rich.
And we have a, I guess like 2-month-old, maybe more like a month and a half old article that I hadn't brought up. But I do want to know what this cure to stress is that she speaks of. It's from the Wall Street Journal.
We're a reputable news source.
And I think that it's good to read this article with Richie Rich here because he can tell us if it's BS that they're saying about Hawaiians or not.
Probably is BS. I'll just go out on a limb. I also I'm also a terrible advocate for the state because even there, I'm white, right? So I'm not integrated into the local Hawaiian culture.
And here people are like,
much.
Are you like half Mexican?
I don't think I've ever gotten that.
Well, you said that people think you're not white here.
Yes, because here I'm darker than the white people.
Yeah.
But in Hawaii, I'm definitely white.
My friend who is half Mexican, half white in Brownsville, he said is just considered white. And then here everybody was like,
yeah.
What are you constantly?
Yeah.
So it's just like, depends on where you are, if you're borderline enough. But
yeah, if you're dark on the mainland, Right. They're like, oh, must be a Mexican. Not quite black.
Oh, you mean in America? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, and yeah, I don't know all the lingo because I've never been to Hawaii. I was thinking like the biggest island.
The Big Island.
The Big Island. There we go. Not the mainland.
Easy to
Mainland's
remember.
here. Yeah. So this person says, I study stress. This cure surprised and helped me.
We should check that Dave Ridley site, the All Bias, whatever.
Oh, yeah. No.
Allsides.com.
All Sides, to see how they label the Wall Street Journal.
I wonder if you can input things.
What kind of bias are we looking at going into this?
I'm not sure if you're able to just search a story and see what they gave it. At least I can't just do that really fast.
I thought maybe they'd have a listing of the news outlets. Like Wall Street Journal, left-wing bias.
Here's
BBC,
they have
left-wing bias.
a little list here. It says news from the right. We have, and it's all different headlines I'm not going to read, but there's
Daily Stormer, racist.
Hungarian Conservative, Washington Times, Fox News Digital, Washington Times, Fox News Digital, New York Post, New York Post.
All right. Wall Street Journal's not coming up quickly. All right.
Oh, there's one for Wall Street Journal here, and it's considered a central.
Oh.
Center.
All right.
It's from the center, and it's White House unveils Trump RX drug buying site and a Pfizer pricing deal. So.
Okay. Jinx.
That came out today. Well, it says posted on All Sides October 12th, so when was the actual article? Because it doesn't say that right on the front page, but I do want to know about this magical stress potion, or whatever it is.
Fake.
They said, I was pacing the lobby of a Big Island hotel. Wow, I sound really bad.
You sound just fine.
It's a big pharma fail.
Throat.
Yeah, I think it's just that I was drinking coffee at the beginning.
That'll do it.
And that was like helpful.
Nature's miracle cure for whatever.
Nature's favorite drug.
Pharma should get one. Big Pharma should get a coffee.
There you go.
Get a patent on coffee.
Okay.
I'm just kidding anyway. That would be like my nightmare.
Put Colombia out of business. Then the only thing they can export is cocaine.
Oh, man.
They said they were pacing a lobby of a Big Island hotel in flip-flops, panic rising in my chest like mercury in a thermometer. My luggage had vanished somewhere between the continental U.S. and Hawaii, and in less than 24 hours I was supposed to deliver a keynote speech to a room full of suits. I mean, I would be stressed too. I feel like this is going somewhere where he's going to be like, and then the Hawaiians were like, calm down, man. And it's like, that's a pretty stressful situation. And if you weren't stressed out, that would just make you an abnormal person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Lost luggage is a pain.
It is. I've never experienced it though, but
me either. But I've been afraid that it would happen.
Oh yeah.
So I understand.
I lost some luggage once on my way home to college from Hawaii. Like, whatever suitcase I had, and the airport had to like deliver it 3 days later from wherever they found it.
Oh.
They just showed up in a van like, hey, here's your bag. We got it.
Wow. Yes. That's so weird.
Right. But we were sitting around at baggage claim for like a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we got to go to like the lost luggage desk and whatever. Like, man, I'm just tired. I want to go home.
Every time it seems like it's taking too long for luggage to come out of that thing, I'm like freaking out already.
Yep.
It says, the irony was not lost on me. Here I was, a stress physiologist who studies how humans handle pressure, completely undone by a missing suitcase. See, he is doing that thing where he's trying to make it seem like, and it wasn't even a big deal. But that is a big deal, honestly.
It is a big deal. And, even if you study stress and things like that, I'm sure that's still just a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because you study it doesn't mean you're unaffected by it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when the hotelier noticed my distress. I'm just guessing that's what it says.
Okay.
Hotelier.
Sure.
It's the only other way I'd say it. Without hesitation, and I worked in hotels, no one ever used that word. They were definitely
the
not.
concierge at the front desk?
Yeah. They weren't fancy hotels. Without hesitation, he had a car take me to the shops. After 3 stores with nothing but Hawaiian shirts, I was ready to find a place to quietly weep. Then in the last shop...
I'm already calling BS because we have more than Hawaiian shirts at the shops. Like, bro, just get a t-shirt.
That's a good point.
You might be hard-pressed to find like a men's warehouse near the airport on the Big Island, right, to get a suit, but whatever.
It's kind of funny to Yeah, we only wear Hawaiian shirts here.
The original Boogaloo crew.
It says, then in the last shop, something extraordinary happened. The woman behind the counter listened to my predicament and chuckled. Oh, sweetie, you aren't going to find what you need here. She handed me the keys to her brand new BMW convertible and gave me directions to shops that sold business attire 40 minutes away.
There you go. That's where you'll find your Men's Warehouse.
Just bring it back when you're done, she said with a smile. That's so crazy nice. This is all sounding close to fake.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm reading like a...
I mean, there's some local hospitality, but like giving your tourists the keys to your BMW. Just like, oh, just bring it back. Right. Could have happened.
Sweetie.
Yeah, sure. Sweet old lady. Yeah.
That's crazy.
As if there's not an Uber or a taxi.
Yeah.
We have Ubers
and he
taxis.
had a taxi.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It says, I don't even know your name. I don't even know your name. I protested. I'll tell you when you bring my car back, she twinkled. This is reading like some kind of a fantasy novel.
Fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction. Yeah, exactly. As I drove across the island, top down,
and AI slop on the Wall Street Journal.
That's so true.
It may just be.
As I drove across the island, top down, and doubt swirling, was I an unwitting drug mule? That's a good thought. I couldn't comprehend why a stranger would trust me with what was likely her most valuable possession. I returned hours later.
If she's a drug trafficker, she has another drug mule, right? She's also not going to put that in the hands of a stranger.
Yeah.
You give it to your trusted mule.
Yep.
It's all really weird, though.
All right, continue.
If real. I returned hours later, outfit secured and overcome with gratitude. Through tears, I asked the woman her name, and it turned out it was Tawny. Why she had done this.
It's the most realistic thing I've heard so far.
The name? Is it common?
I've known a handful of Tawnies.
That's how we. That's like the Hawaiian version of Bonnie. It feels like, but it's spelled different. That's why we take care of people here in Hawaii. That's how we take care of people here in Hawaii. She answered. Then she revealed something deeper. I've been stressed lately, she admitted. She was worried about her daughter who had just moved back to the continental U.S. My hope is that somebody might do something similar for her if she was in the same circumstance. When I returned to the hotel, the hotelier was eager to hear how my trip had gone. As I recounted Tawny's extraordinary kindness, tears welled up in his eyes. Minutes later, an elaborate display of chocolates arrived in my room, accompanied by a 2-page note. He explained that he'd been anxious about moving his family to Hawaii, but my story had quieted his stress.
Okay, chocolates are a good gift.
Mm-hmm.
We bring those back to give out to like maintenance crews or whomever
in Hawaii.
Well, no, we bring the Hawaiian chocolates back here because you're not going to get as good chocolate here.
Oh,
right. So like,
nice.
Hey, you want to do a favor for me? Here's a box of chocolate covered macadamia nuts.
That
all of a sudden
awesome.
You're in the good graces.
Nice.
Right.
Of all nuts, macadamias are the best. Macadamias are the tastiest. They're the best, and also they're less high in polyunsaturated fats because they're grown at a warm temperature.
I don't know if they still do this, but like when I was a kid, your McDonald's sundae came with a pack of macadamia nuts. Not the nasty peanuts that you have to deal with here.
Peanuts suck. I hate
generally,
them.
yes, but like, that was the thing.
I was just talking to somebody who was like, I like them. I don't know what you're talking about. And you're just like, yeah, they're nasty. I agree.
I like peanut butter, but
I don't like that either, honestly.
On your McDonald's sundae?
No.
Or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay.
I don't like it.
I don't think I've ever had a McDonald's sundae.
Oh, you were missing out.
I've never had a McDonald's sundae either. I've had the ice cream.
What are you guys doing?
Honestly,
it's McDonald's.
I don't think my dad and mom would have ever bought us like sundaes at McDonald's. They just buy us food.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes we even drink water.
All right.
Like we have drinks at home.
I feel bad for you.
Does that mean I should use DoorDash tomorrow and get a sundae?
I'm not
Sure,
gonna do it.
yeah.
They all have soybean oil in them.
Well,
Sorry.
have someone, I would say have someone take you because by the time the DoorDash get there, it might be melted.
Oh yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah.
And but just know that if you can get like some crushed up macadamia nuts to sprinkle on that thing, you'll have a much better experience than peanuts.
Do you agree the macadamia nuts are way better, Riley?
I don't know if I do or not. I'm not a huge nut person.
Yeah, I'm not a huge one either. That's basically Ian's entire diet in jail. Not literally because he eats all the jail food, but prison, whatever. But he orders from commissary. Like what he spends all his money on in commissary is like all these snack mixes. So he eats so many nuts because he's always hungry.
Yeah, I get a mixed nut box from BJ's, and that's my snack at work. So I do like nuts.
Nice.
I guess it's a
Good nuts.
better snack than other snacks people will be
It's
eating.
healthy and it boosts your metabolism, so I eat it early to burn off some calories before I eat garbage later.
Nice.
Well, I remember when I worked at a hotel and I ate horribly every single day. That's the only time I ever started getting fat in my life. So I would guess I was a hotelier. I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's the owner of the hotel.
Yeah, maybe that is what it is. Never heard that word in my life. And our owners, we're somewhere off in corporate land.
Yeah.
Not there, so.
Because it's a small hotel on the Big Island.
It says, in the self-help field, we tend to promote the usual stress management arsenal, meditation apps, massage therapy, breathing exercises, yoga classes. These aren't wrong, but they rely on the individual to solve their own stress. In reality, these tools can sometimes exacerbate the problem as people see their failure to self-regulate as proof there is something broken or wrong with them.
Or you can go the pharmaceutical route. Get you some Xanax or some lithium.
Yeah.
And that's when you're definitely thinking something's wrong with me. Like, something's just wrong with how my body works, and I need to get, or my brain, chemicals, whatever.
Yeah,
So,
that's what pharmaceuticals do. Right? If there's something wrong, they regulate it. If there's nothing wrong, they get you high.
as we explained earlier.
As we explained earlier.
Yeah, I always thought, I wonder if morphine is awesome.
It is.
And when
it's absolutely awesome.
When you need it, it sucks.
Yes. No. When you need it, it's awesome.
No, I meant when you need
Okay.
it works for pain, but it also makes you feel just like, I'm not me or here. I'm not actually here. That's how I felt.
Okay.
At least. And it could have been totally different doses. It could have been the other stuff I was on. I was on Keppra at the same time.
No, I just clicked the button until I fell asleep.
I never got to click the button. Yeah.
More. I'm at the hospital. I don't want to feel anything.
When I had to go,
I can be in pain at home.
when I went to go get my surgery recently, I told them, and I suggest this to anyone who is genuinely scared. I was like, I'm really, really terrified. I'm not going to be crying about it. I'm just telling you, I'm really terrified. And they're like, okay, we're going to give you something to relax you first anyway, so don't. And then it was like, oh, I feel really good now that you did that. Oh, I feel amazing. Actually feel great. And then 20 seconds later, don't remember a thing until waking up. So apparently they'll knock you out basically before you get to the operating room if you ask. Because
Well, depending on the operation, if you're going to go under, they definitely knock you out before the operation.
Oh, but I read so many people's things that were like, oh, and then I got into the operating room and I saw all the tools and I did not want that to happen to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before the operation.
Yeah, okay.
But
All right.
at the beginning, I was in this waiting room kind of place. And when I was still in there and he grabbed me, the anesthesiologist, to push me away, that's when he put something brown looking in my vein.
I love the
and it was
countdown.
awesome.
Countdown from 10.
Yeah,
You
he
get
didn't
to,
even
8.
He didn't even have to
Out
do that to
cold.
me.
Okay.
I was just being pushed into, and it was already, at least, even if I was talking to them, I don't remember it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I love that for me. I did not want to remember any of it. I was so afraid that I would wake up during surgery and not be able to move, but I'd be aware. Because people say that happens.
The sleep ghost or whatever.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what it's called.
Lots of people
Sleep
claim that
paralysis.
happens. Yeah, well, it's not even real sleep.
Or the witch sitting on your chest.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have people experience that, the sleep paralysis during anesthesia, being put under.
Oh man.
But people say that they have been waking up and they're like, I'm totally awake. And if you can get your finger or something to barely move, then the anesthesiologist will be like, I gotta put more, because they're used to that happening. But terrifying.
I would like to suggest that that's a corporate decision based on the insurance.
Oh God.
Right. We have to give them the bare minimum anesthesia, right, to put them under, right, because for cost cutting measures.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's creepy. I didn't have any insurance.
If they wake up, then we'll charge them more for the next shot.
I paid the bulk of it before I went in. It didn't have insurance, and the amount I had to pay after was just for it going slightly over the time they expected.
There you go.
So I think that that's a good thing to do, because it's they weren't going to just be like, I'm not wasting my stuff on her, Maybe it's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I had to give somebody who needs to hear that advice. Maybe nobody needs to hear that.
So I had my right eye removed back in 2012, and I remember when I went in to get that done, I don't remember much of anything once they put so they put the IV in me so they could put the saline solution in, and then they
nighty-night.
Was it a completely under surgery? Like you're completely knocked out?
Yes. And so when they wheeled me back, they said, all right, we're going to put the anesthetic in you. And they didn't have me do a countdown or anything. I just went to sleep.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's the way it should be.
That is the way it should be.
And then staying asleep until they're done.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I was afraid that since people say it's not a true sleep, that you'd wake up feeling awful. But I woke up like seriously, literally with my hands like the cartoon little girl falling asleep, like hands together under your face, and I was like, where am I? Just thinking I was becoming awake from the most amazing nap. It was awesome.
Nice.
So I don't think I dream during those things. Right? Like when I got hit by a car, I got knocked out, and there was nothing between getting knocked out and waking up. And when I go in for surgery, again, I don't recall anything between like going under and then waking up. Like whether it's 5 minutes or an hour or however long the surgery was, right? Like that time is just nothingness. Could easily be dead and there'd be nothing.
When I was in a car accident, I was like knocked out and having a seizure. I don't remember any of that. I remember what looked like I was like looking out the window and I see cars going by and then they turn slow motion. And then there's like blackness with this one weird memory where I'm holding hands of the lady who died. And we're in a field, and she looked really happy, and we're walking up towards this bright hill, and she told me I couldn't go anymore.
Wow.
So I remember that. And I told my parents, like, I saw an angel. But I don't remember telling them that. There was lots of people I talked to that I don't remember talking to because, well, I was in a coma for 4 days, but they put me in it. And then when I was waking up, I started telling people stuff.
Yeah.
And then somebody had told me that was just a nurse on the side of the road telling you that. And then so I started to believe, oh, I guess they brought me into the field by the highway. And then when somebody told me, like, no, you weren't walking around during the thing, like you were having a seizure, they stopped you from having a seizure, they put you in the helicopter and or whatever. Like, I don't know if they drove me first or because I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
I know when I woke up, the first thing that happened, the first thing that I recognized was like the podcast in my earbuds. And so I'm listening to it and I go like, okay, how much did I miss? Are they still talking about the same thing they were, you know, when I got hit?
Whoa.
Right. And then I looked at my phone and I was like, well, I know I left work at 10, right? This was not that far from work and it's only now 10:05. So I wasn't knocked out for very long. Right. And then, you know, as it happened, there were undercover cops on the scene. So as I woke up in the crosswalk, like they were the first on the scene and then the ambulance came and a whole bunch of stuff. But I was like, you know, I just did the check of how long was I out, you know, first with the podcast and then with the phone.
That is all weird stuff. And another thing I've heard is doctors say it's impossible for you to dream while put under in a coma because you just can't. And that's one reason they will fight the people that say like, I woke up and I felt everything you guys did. They'll like fight you because they'll say it's impossible, stuff like that. So I was really afraid that was going to happen to me. No one would believe me, etc. But
it's hard to tell someone what they experienced. I heard everything. You brought my mom and my dad in to talk to me and try to wake me up. I heard them. I just couldn't do it. Nope, couldn't happen. That's useless.
Yep.
You're lying.
And then
you're making stuff up, patient.
The people who float around, I would rather float around. They probably float around as a mechanism for their brain because we already know that people being traumatized, like somebody being like sexually assaulted as a kid or something, they can have experiences where they're floating above their body.
Disassociating.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
So it seems likely that if you wake up during or if you're in a car accident or something like that, and then you find yourself floating above your body, that it's you're conscious of it in some way, and then your body's like, we can't handle this, and you dissociate.
Yeah. You also can't, you know, if that were to happen, I don't think you'd be able to get an accurate lay of the land. Right? Like I saw like a tree to my left. Well, the tree doesn't exist. Well, it's because your imagination was making it up because you weren't really floating above your body.
It would be interesting if somebody did studies on just those people.
Yeah.
Who floated above their heads.
It's not like a camera on an extension, like out the back of your car to get that point of view for your race video. Right? You don't get to see it.
Well, We totally changed the subject from what we were talking about. We were talking about stress.
Yeah.
Making stuff up on your Hawaiian vacation.
Yeah, I know. It seems so fake. I feel like I can't trust this guy, but it could totally be all real.
Again, it's his experience.
And the other thing
just
is,
not buying most of it.
the other thing is, like, it's kind of sad to not believe that somebody was that kind. It just seems like there's so many other options. She could have been like, I'll pay for your Uber, even.
Or she could have drove him. Right?
Yeah.
But it's just to hand a stranger the keys to your luxury premium automobile.
It's very weird.
Very strange.
603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Please call in, bring up whatever's on your mind, makes the show go around. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless Crime Spree.
From Feature Story News in San Francisco, I'm Ira Spitzer with a look back at some of the week's top stories. Donald Trump announced the first phase of a Gaza peace deal had been agreed. The U.S. president said all the hostages held by Hamas would be released within days. Many Palestinian prisoners held in Israel would also be released, and Israel would withdraw troops to an agreed line in Gaza. FSN's correspondent Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The reaction amongst the family members of the hostages held in Gaza has been one of jubilation, even though it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. People descended on Hostage Square. They've been popping champagne. We've seen tears of joy. However, from the overall umbrella group that represents the family members of the hostages, they have been a bit more reserved. They've said that they are receiving the news with a mix of excitement, anticipation, and concern, and that their struggle will not end until the last hostage returns.
After that ceasefire came into effect on Friday, Palestinians began heading back north towards Gaza City, which had been the site of intense military occupation in recent weeks. The ceasefire marks a significant milestone in the pursuit of peace in the Middle East, but questions remain over who will govern the enclave in the years ahead. Donald Trump has not won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. The U.S. leader had hoped to win the prize for his efforts to defuse global conflicts. The annual award has gone to Venezuelan democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. FSN's Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, not the result that Donald Trump wanted, but the February 1st nomination deadline worked against him. That was just a week and a half into his second term, at a time when just one congresswoman had put in a nomination for the US president, despite many world leaders in recent months coming forward to saying that the US president should be recognized. Maria Corina Machado has been a long-time opposition figure in Venezuela. She was barred from running against the president, Nicolas Maduro, in the last election.
Nearly 22,000 people fled their homes in northern Mozambique in a single week last month due to a resurgence in fighting across Cabo Delgado, the UN Refugee Agency has warned. FSN's Isaac Lucando reports.
The UN Refugee Agency says the late September surge in displacement marks a turning point in Mozambique's conflict, now in its 8th year, with more than 100,000 people uprooted in 2025. The violence in Cabo Delgado, which began in 2017, has grown into a complex crisis, worsened by cyclones, floods, and drought. All 17 districts have now been affected, displacing more than 1.3 million people. The agency warns families are reaching their limit as civilians face killings, abductions, sexual violence, and forced child recruitment.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call 603-283-6160. No, the audio isn't bad this time if you're listening, it's just my voice. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley.
And Richie Rich.
And I wanted to get to what this guy's point was in this silly little possibly fake story when we were talking about stress and his...
Maybe it's not fake, but maybe it's a little embellished. Who knows?
Right. And exactly, it could be mostly
we
real,
don't have
little
the guy
embellished.
with us on air, so we can't really ask him all the details.
And if he was saying this to me, I wouldn't be saying anything about it. I'd be like, wow, that's a crazy story. And then later I'd be like, do you think that was fake?
BS? BS?
That's so mean, but I gotta be honest.
Hashtag doubt it.
Yeah, later. I wouldn't be mean to his face about it, but if he said it exactly like this. And
That new mover just lied to everybody.
Wait, what?
If he showed up at like one of the new mover events or whatever.
That's funny.
Socials.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just especially the way he said it, like the way he wrote it, like stylistically reminded me of exactly what you were saying, like fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like
this one time I went on vacation, I could only find the most commonly found tourist shirt available anywhere. And then a nice old lady gave me the keys to her BMW so I could drive 40 miles away to buy a suit.
with the top down, it's like I'd be as careful with it as possible if it was me, you know.
All the time worried that I was being a drug mule, even though I wasn't dropping the car off anywhere and I had to bring it right back to her.
Yeah, that's a good point. What would be worse is like if she just called and said, "My car's been stolen."
Yeah.
Just
Nice
because she
prank.
liked messing with people.
This
Horrible
white dude
prank.
stole my BMW. He only had Aloha shirts.
If she was the store owner, she could be like, "We don't have cameras in here. Our cameras are broken. Like, there's no proof."
Yep.
Anyways, I wanted to get to what his point was about
Stress relief?
stress relief
Okay.
and this story of how he lost his suitcase. He needed a suit to talk to a room full of suits, and this woman helped him out. He says, "My Hawaiian crisis has become an impromptu case study. People experiencing their own stress had all instinctively relieved this pressure by helping someone else, because the old lady, she says that the reason she helped him is because she was worried about her daughter on the mainland, and she thought helping him would make her be able to think of someone else helping her daughter if she
Like a
needed
pay
help."
it forward type of thing?
Yeah.
All right.
They said they weren't following any wellness program or stress management protocol. They were simply and perhaps unconsciously responding to their own anxiety by extending kindness to another person. So that's what he says, that there was a workplace study of interventions to reduce stress, and breathing exercises and all those things were tested, and only one consistently mitigated the negative effects of stress: serving others.
Okay.
Interesting.
So that's pretty nice.
Maybe service is actually really important.
I
mean,
really
religion
think so.
like to believe you believe that.
I think
stressed, come volunteer.
I think that serving others to an extent where you're hurting yourself is bad.
Oh, yeah.
I could see it
Give
being
from the overflow.
Yeah, but I could see it being a thing that makes you feel good, even if it's like only selfishly. It's like a win-win situation. Like even if you're like, I'm doing this because it makes me feel good only, and I don't care about anyone
No.
else.
It's not what evolution would dictate that you do.
Oh my god. No.
No.
That's Skeeter's voice. Oh my god.
There's no profit to be made when you're helping others.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still millions of people that choose to do it all the time. Like people love to volunteer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually like a coveted situation to be able to volunteer in Keene. Like I wanted to sign up to volunteer when I moved here, and it was like, maybe we'll let you send an email first. I was like, what? It was like, it went on for so many weeks. So I was like, never mind, lady. Like, I guess there's a lot of old people that want to be the volunteers here. It's crazy.
Funny.
And then,
go ahead.
I've shared that with other people, and they said like, "Oh, I've had the same experience elsewhere." So,
I volunteered for a personal development group for quite a while, like monthly for probably a year or more. And it was weird because at one point, like during one of the seminar sessions, one of the students like got up and said like, well, how do I value myself more? The response was like, well, just don't give away your labor for free. Or you gotta you gotta value yourself, and you gotta like make sure that people know what your value is by putting a number on it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not volunteering anymore because I'm not doing this. If I value myself, I'm not doing this for free.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I don't do volunteer work. I'm valuable. You ought pay me for any services I render.
I also believe in that it's actually just best to do things in that kind of way where you offer things and you don't offer it always for free. You if somebody says, "Oh, I'll pay you," you take them up on their offer for that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, because it's like you can subliminally, or that's not the word, like unconsciously feel a little taken advantage of, and then like maybe you do they keep taking you up on your offers, and then you start to feel hard done by, and it's like, oh, that's all your own doing because you didn't ask for payment, you know. And I feel like that's just like possibly just human nature to feel, quote unquote hard done by just because of something like that.
Well, and some people like myself will take advantage of that situation. Right? If you're always offering it for free, I will always accept it for free.
Well, if anybody else has anything else to say about the service to others stress relieving thing,
I can't think of anything, but I do believe that service is important, and but also don't serve so much that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And if you're really stressed out and there's no one else to service, it's okay to service yourself.
Yes.
So
if you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
Took Riley a minute, but he agreed at first.
I was like, yeah. Nice. Anyways, I thought you meant like take a bath.
Sometimes
take
you
a bubble
gotta service
bath.
yourself, man.
Oh my god.
That's all we can say on the radio.
This is actually studyfinds.org.
Reputable source.
Another thing kind of about people's mental states. Love and mental health. Study of 6 million couples. That number seems a little high. Shows partners often share psychological disorder.
That's what people say about the Holocaust.
That's why I made that joke. It's just a little specific. It's like study of 6 million couples. Like usually that's like a meta analysis instead of a study. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it must mean it's pretty good. So
they could not have surveyed that many couples in the time that they conducted this study.
Probably not.
Did not happen.
Did not happen. Anyways, did this happen in Germany? They're just really good at that. They're really efficient over there.
Couples were all lined up in front of wooden doors.
Oh man.
Couples. So.
Oh no.
Love
Such
and
dark
mental
humor.
health. Study of 6 million couples shows Free Talk Live for Columbine jokes earlier, or I think it was Columbine, and Holocaust jokes now.
Oh man.
Nothing's off limits. It's too soon.
Too soon?
Yeah, too soon.
Holocaust, too soon? Study of 6 million couples show partners often share psychological disorders. And I really want to know what me and Ian share, because the trolls say that he's autistic, but we took online tests and they said we're not.
I'll bet it's the woman with the psychological disorder and the man pretending that he has it just to not get into another fight with her.
Yeah, I saw it. Her sister called her fat. I saw it.
Yeah, totally. It totally happened.
And they're both delusional. The doctor's writing down.
We all wipe down the doorknobs 3 or 5 times after we walk in the house because she's OCD and I don't want to deal with it.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Oh, I love it.
I can't believe that it is really a study. It says a large-scale study of over 6 million couples across Denmark, Sweden, and Taiwan. They're real close to Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Is there even 6 million people in those areas?
There has to be. Isn't Taiwan one of the most densely populated?
Okay.
The other two, I don't know. So
it's a whole bunch of Asian people, like 2 Denmarkian couples.
That's a good point. So it is kind of weird that it's just Denmark, Sweden, and like 6 million is a lot for you to only have a few countries. But anyways, a large-scale study of over 6 million couples across Taiwan, Denmark, and Sweden found that partners are more likely to share the same or similar psychiatric diagnosis. Conditions analyzed included depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism, bipolar disorder, OCD, anorexia, schizophrenia, and substance use disorder.
All right.
So substance use disorder makes a lot of sense because, like, if you're addicted to a drug, it kind of makes sense that your partner would be too, so you can, like, do it together.
You have something in common.
Yep.
It's hard when one person wants to stop, though. And one person's like, nah, we kind of got into this together.
Yeah.
I'm not done doing coke in my life.
Yep. That sounds like awful situation to be in. But the study finds assortative mating the study suggests assortative mating, or how people often choose partners with similar traits and life experiences, may extend into mental health. And you know what makes a lot of sense? A lot of people say that couples look alike. Do you guys think I look like Ian?
No, not at all.
Riley. I was going to say, well, in this case, I guess not you, Riley, but...
Let me touch your face.
I doubt he's ever just touched Ian's face. Oh, okay.
No, I've never touched Ian's face.
I mean, the commonalities make sense, right? Like, you know, she's not here tonight, but Lori would only date a smoker.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause she doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Like,
example.
Hard to find, you know, if you're like me and averse to smoking, right? And like, oh man, that limits the amount of people in the dating pool that you're willing to compromise.
Yep, that's a great example. She said on there that she would only date somebody who was a smoker.
Yep. Got to have something in common.
And I'm sure there's plenty of other people we know of that have similar things. Like, at some point in my life, I wouldn't have ever dated, and like, if me and Ian didn't work out, I think then on I wouldn't have dated anyone else who wasn't a libertarian. It's just that, like, before I dated Ian, no one I hardly knew was a libertarian, so it wasn't even possible. Like, I would never have restricted my dating pool to libertarians only in, like, Texas.
I think, I'm going to say that's easier here.
Exactly.
There's a movement.
Exactly. So it's really hard to say if I can think of anything for, like, me and Ian right now. But what about you and your girlfriend, Riley? Can you think of anything that was like, oh, we worked because...
Well, she and I are both really picky eaters, and so it makes the relationship so much easier, so we don't have to worry about...
But you're picky in totally opposite ways?
I think we're pretty similar.
Nice.
Yeah.
That works out.
We only eat Cheez-Its and crackers.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, we're pretty similar. She doesn't like pickles, and I love pickles, and so...
That works. That's a good balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she can give you the pickle off her sandwich plate.
Yeah.
You trade.
That's actually, perfect.
That's like yin and yang. That's perfect.
I feel like Ian eats everything.
Yes.
There's nothing Ian doesn't
Other than that,
eat.
we're pretty similar. We're really similar in our tastes.
So...
She says I'm a little more adventurous when it comes to food, though, and I don't think I'm very adventurous.
Well, at least you guys get along on the fact that you're both picky compared to other people.
Yep.
So you don't have to explain yourself to her when you're like, I'm not going to eat that.
No, I don't.
Is she Mormon or recovering Mormon?
No, she's not.
Okay.
Never has been.
So other explanations include shared environments, attachment styles, and social identity factors that foster closeness and mutual understanding. But of course, it's just like there's always all these like different explanations and theories on why this and that, like nature versus nurture. I'm like, if there's any doctor out there saying it's only nature, or anyone saying it's only nurture, like, why would you listen to them? It's obviously always a mix.
Yeah, it is.
So I think it's probably just a mix of tons
The
of
interesting thing is like the split up twins,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how, like, you know, they're so similar in different environments, which leads you to conclude that still a big part of that is nature.
Wait, wow.
Right? Like,
yeah.
how could they grow up in such different areas and different different towns and different economic conditions and still end up the same?
Oh, that'd be really interesting to hear about.
Well, look it up. There's a bunch of studies on it.
That's the whole premise of the Parent Trap.
Okay.
Because there's two
Twins.
separated at birth twins.
There you go. Yeah.
And they meet each other and they try to get their parents to fall in love so they can be twins that live together. Yeah.
Twin magic.
There's a not Hillary Duff. There's a Lindsay Lohan version, and I don't remember who the other one was right now. So, researchers caution the results are observational only. Timing of diagnosis and doctor bias may influence outcomes. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you get diagnosed with something, maybe your partner might be like, you know what, I think I have it too. So researchers caution they're observational only. Timing of diagnosis and doctor bias may influence outcomes.
You're at the first date and you're sitting across the table. Let's just say our mental illness together.
1,
and see
2,
if we have
3.
it.
Depression.
ODD. Psychopathy. Oh,
I should. Well, luckily I'm dating right now, but if ever I were to date again, maybe I should try that. Let's say our mental illnesses together on the count of 3. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ian has ODD. I feel like he has to.
Like really? Is he averse to like everything, or just like government?
He even won't do things I suggest just because someone else suggested it, even though it's me sometimes.
Okay.
Like I have to really work on him when it's something he remotely doesn't want to do. If it's something he already wants to do and I suggest he does it, then of course he's going to do it. But if it's something he is pretty neutral on, sometimes he'll just be like, no, because I don't want to listen to someone else.
Okay.
I'm kind of the same way. I may be like, okay, maybe I'll do it, but ultimately it doesn't get done because I don't want to do it.
Like there's been so many times where we were on the show where I'm like, Ian, hang up on him.
Yeah.
Whoever's on the phone, and Ian's like, no, I don't hang up on people just because someone else wants me to. And I'm like, but it's getting awful. Hang up on him.
I don't want to speak for Mark, but I know Mark probably went through a bunch of that as a business partner for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is in the good of the business. And Ian's like, no, because I don't want to.
Yeah.
he's very positioned and uncompromising on principle, right? So if it's something he just doesn't want to do, you shouldn't even ask twice, right? If he says no, then just leave it right there. You're not going to convince him otherwise, even if you're right and the logic makes sense and it's beneficial for everybody. He's already said no.
The thing is with at least me and Ian, I can't think of any like mental problems genuinely that I know of that we have, probably just because we've never consented to go to a doctor and just talk about our lives and get told like, oh, the way you think right there, that's psychopathy or whatever else.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you could look that stuff up, right?
Yeah, but every time I hear about that stuff, I'm like, it doesn't apply to me.
Okay, well then, self-diagnosis being what it is, you're probably not going to get a diagnosis at a doctor unless you're lying to yourself.
The only thing I could think of sometimes that I'm like, genuinely, I think it could be me is ADHD. And it's like,
okay.
That's one thing I could see, even things I did as a kid that I could see as ADHD. It's always like, not very messy and stuff like that. And it was just like hard for me to focus and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go that's a pharma I'm not going to try.
Okay.
Pharma to get rid of a cold?
In general, I'm not a believer of ADHD.
Oh, really?
And ADD, especially in children. Because they're usually diagnosed in an artificial environment.
Yeah, and I don't like the idea of telling a kid that because they want to talk to their friend sitting next to them, they're ADHD. That's ridiculous.
Right. But even as an adult, right, if you find yourself being ADHD for something, it's likely something you don't really want to do. Right? If you're ADHD at work, it's because you don't want to be there. But if you find something you like, and you're just like, oh, man, I really want to do this, and then you're still having trouble focusing on it, well, then maybe.
That's literally me. Like, I want to try all these different hobbies and stuff. I have more time than the average person.
Okay.
And I try for a few days and then I like forget about it and give up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that thing.
But
I'm
were
late
you
to
enjoying
everything.
it? Like, you were enjoying it? I was like, oh, I want to do this again. And you just don't? Okay.
Yeah. And also the other thing is like, one question that they asked. So I only recently heard a podcast where somebody was talking about his experience with ADHD. Getting diagnosed and finally going on meds, and it did make me like, maybe I should try to go to a doctor and see if they want to put me on meds, but I reeled it back. I don't want to be on those meds because it's like too messing with your brain psychology. But one thing that they ask is, do you frequently lose things? Are you frequently late? And do you frequently forget why you were doing something when you, like, for example, walk into another room? That's literally me all day, every day. And I've never been on time. Every single job I've ever had, I get to sit down and talk about why I'm late all the time.
Okay.
I literally run on libertarian time. Every event that I go to, I'm late.
Yep.
Do you think that's true, Riley?
Yes. She is.
And it's not like I'm like, I don't care. I really want to be on time, and I just never am. Things like that. But the thing is, I think that there's so many things I should try out, especially things Ian's always suggesting, like giving myself a schedule. But again,
that's something that someone else is suggesting. If you've, like, a lot of people who are diagnosed with ADHD or whatever, when they find something that they want to do, like, I sought this out, I want to do this, I'm enjoying this, right, then they can focus, right? They're enjoying it. They're there in the moment with whatever they're doing, And it's always this artificial thing like, oh, my friend suggested it, or my boyfriend or husband suggested it, or it happened in school, which again is an unnatural environment. And they're like, oh, he can't focus. Yeah, because it's not supposed to be there, right? It's not something he wants to do. Help him find something he wants to do, and you'll see that he goes from like not focused and can't focus to like real focused real quick.
I loved being in school. Oh, this actually makes a lot of sense, maybe. I loved being in school the first 3 years because I started in 3rd grade, and then I really didn't like being in there anymore starting in middle school, and I did really good in the first like 3 years, and in fact like I could focus more than the average bear probably, and I liked learning, and then it's like they ruin that over time. They really ruin that. So then it's like I don't like it, I don't want to be there, and even classes that I really thought I would like at the beginning I don't end up liking. That also, teachers are just the worst. Like they're just the worst.
They broke you.
Yeah.
You were fine, and then they broke you.
Yeah, there's that.
And
now
then
as an adult,
you can't recover.
one thing I do love to do is literally listen to like lecture style things to learn.
Okay.
So it's like, that's probably what I liked about school, but it's without the horrible other things that go along with being in school, like being forced to, like, it's like, why don't they let you like choose your class, you know? Stuff like that. Like,
you got to get to college first.
Yeah. You have to be in all these classes you don't want to be in, and then you have to be with these people you don't like.
Right.
Stuff like that. Anyways.
It's a very garbage, unnatural environment, and then anyone that doesn't like fit the mold, they go like ADHD.
And it's also
ADD.
much worse for boys.
He's
typically.
defiant.
Like, of course, there are types of or different people everywhere.
Special
So
needs.
there are all kinds of boys that would probably enjoy the model that school has, but most boys don't do well in the type of model that like elementary and middle school and high school have. So it makes kind of sense to me that I would be doing okay, at least at the beginning in school. And then I was like valedictorian for the most ridiculous reason in high school, because it's like I went to a high school with lots of normal classes that they didn't offer in Utah because it's such a small school. So even though they had higher GPAs than me, like the top 3 kids or 2, maybe just the top 2, I was valedictorian because I took harder classes that weighed more.
All right.
So I felt really bad about that. Sometimes I feel really bad about that. Like those kids were a shoo-in to be salutatorian, valedictorian since elementary school, and I just swooped in. I felt kind of bad about that. But
strength of schedule is important.
Yeah.
When ranking things.
It was what my guidance counselor said brought it out was French, which I really liked.
Okay.
So I took it 3 years instead of 2.
Do you remember any French?
I remember some.
Mise en place.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant, but yeah.
Fail.
What do you remember in French?
I remember lots of things. If you put someone on the spot like that, it's really hard.
The fries and the kisses, Riley.
Okay.
Yeah. and the other thing is, it's so much easier. Most people that learn a second language, which I'm not, like, I don't know a second language. I gotta put that out there. I don't know a second language. But most people that know a second language say that when they're learning it, it's so much easier first to read something and figure out what it says. Like, I like to look at, like, if a toothpaste bottle has something in French, I like to try to see what I can figure out and be like, oh, I got a lot of that right, or whatever. But if someone said it out loud to me, I didn't even know how to spell what you were saying. I was thinking it was mise en was one word, you know?
Yeah.
But, no. Anyways.
I like Google Translate. Makes a lot of things easy, too.
Yes, it does. Do you guys know either of you know other languages?
I learned Spanish in 4th grade. I don't remember much of it. I picked up Scots English, or just generally Scots, the Scots dialect.
What does this mean? If I'm havering, if I'm going to haver.
If you're havering, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It means to talk too much. I guess I'm saying it wrong as havering. Yeah, I mean, and we just Googled that the other day because it's in that song.
Oh yeah, if I could walk 500 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would walk 5,000 more or 500 more.
500
whatever.
more.
Yeah.
It's only 1,000 miles total.
So I was like, what the heck does that mean? I like paused the song and looked it up, and because he says like, if I'm gonna haver whatever, then I'm gonna haver with you, something like that. I was like, what the heck does that mean?
Yes.
And it means to talk too much, like to go on.
Blether
chatting.
is the same thing.
We're all havering on Free Talk Live, basically.
We're also blethering.
And blathering, yeah. freetalklive.com for more. freetalklive.com and more Free Talk Live next weekend. Have a good night and peace.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital